Welcome to another live stream of the Hard Rock Show. I'm Andrew.
I'm Dave, and I'm hoping to not fall off my chair tonight.
Yeah. I'm hoping so too.
I'm Conrad.
And I'm Jeff. Hey, how you doing?
And I am hoping Dave falls off his chair. I'm looking forward to a sequel.
Stunt monkey.
This is the sequel.
For the record, folks. All right. As you can see, we're all here. We've got a lot to get through tonight. We are going to change the order of things up a bit tonight, which we'll explain in a second. But we're going to go through, obviously, our next round of our concept album, King of the Riff theme, which is Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band from the Beatles. This is going up against Streets, a rock opera from Savatage. We're going to chat about some new tunes from Palace of the King and Fight the Sun. We're going to discuss the Tote and that madness is going on over there. And basically, we're going to pick our producers this week for our Big Four supergroup as well. So there's a lot to get through as always. We'll see how we go. We've got the audience comments coming in there. So give us your thoughts. Say hi in the comments as we go through these things, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter. I think we're streaming to this week. What else? I don't know what's going on. There'll be reference tracks, so links in the description of this one, so go and check them out. They'll be shared in the comments as we go through live as well. You can also check out the description to find all of our details, so make sure you like, follow, subscribe, especially hit the like button or leave a comment. That helps us get into everyone's algorithm feeds and all that kind of nonsense. And if you do the same thing, check out our fantastic sponsors. A big thank you as always to Squid Ink Screenprinting, Alt-Cvlt Rockstar Finance. Their details as always in the description box too, so give them a like or a follow. That'd be greatly appreciated. It's okay. It's funny here because, guys, good to see you again, buddy. He's gone, hi, Rockers. Is it just me or does this show start later and later? We're actually getting earlier. Recently, it's been like 9 o'clock, and now it's getting slowly back toward the 8:30 sort of session. So we are working our way back toward 8:30 slowly. But Nicole's here saying hello again. Good to see you again, as always.
Hey, Nicole.
Roland's got the horns up. Andrew's here saying g'day or evening all. Good to see you as well. Same with Sally. Good to see you on Facebook. Same with Chris saying, fellas. Now, Chris, we are going to get you in here a bit later on as well. So we're looking forward to doing that. Tara saying hi as well. So there we go. And Guy has confirmed, is it just me? Yes, it is just me. So we've actually been working our way backwards slowly but surely, trying to get back into the swing of things.
We're like Axl Rose getting on stage. It's sometime between 30 and 9.
Not 2 hours late.
No, we're not 2 hours late. But it's funny. We've changed things up and started to get a little more productive of late, haven't we, Dave? So we've managed to get a bit more done in the last couple of weeks.
We have gotten a lot done in the last couple of weeks, actually.
Yeah. So that'll all come out very, very soon. Guy is saying the suspense. I'm hoping you can see us, Guy. Darren's here saying, hey, everyone. Good to see you as well. All righty. So I did say we're going to change things up. We're going to do the rounds quickly here, though, first. So, Dave, how's your week going?
Yeah, I'm good. It's been an unusual week for me. My daughter is off on grade 6 school camp. So we dropped her off early Monday morning, and I haven't seen her since, except for some photos that the school has posted. So she's having a great time. But I miss her. There's about 20 hours left, and then I can see her. I'm going to pick her up tomorrow. But, yeah, it's a different energy in the house without her. But, yeah, she's having a great time, and that's the important thing. But last Friday, she did start watching Cobra Kai. So she's seen 3 episodes of the first season, and she's loving it. So very proud of her. She's going to be a little mini me, I can tell. But she's very much her own person, which is good.
Dude, you couldn't already tell, I could tell ages ago she's going to be a mini you. So.
She's got her own battle jacket, man. Of course she's going to be. She likes Eddie from Stranger Things. Yeah. But, yeah, it's been an odd week all over the place, but work's been nuts. Listening to music. I'm behind the wrestling, which sucks, but I got to catch up. But apart from that, I'm good. Yeah, been facing the music for falling off my chair and everything, but it's all good.
I have another video queued up about that, the aftermath, which is coming tomorrow.
Julia's comment was, and just like that, your in-depth and emotional review about Nightwish is all but forgotten.
It's ultimately true, Dave.
Always
top
my
your last highlight.
God knows what's going to happen tonight.
It was a very good interview. It was a very, very good review too.
It was actually really poignant. And then you went and fell off your chair.
If you knew the amount of space that's here, I am so lucky I didn't knock myself out.
No, it's a very small room you've got. You are lucky you didn't hurt yourself in that. I've seen that room. It ain't big. So I don't know how you did it. Considering how
a whole bunch of wrestling DVDs collapse on top of me.
Yeah, that would have been perfect. Just you fall down and the shelf comes across and we don't know what the hell's going on. I'll have to call Julia.
DVDs everywhere. It's just like, Yeah.
Could have been worse. Could have been Julia on rescue you. So Now
That would be like, don't fuck you, I'll leave you there all night. That'll teach you.
Yeah.
So how are you, Conrad?
I'm doing good. I'm just preparing for my trip away. So I've come up to Sydney for the weekend. As I said, I'm off to see Ripper Owens this evening and the Iron Maidens on Saturday night. So I'm visiting Sydney for the weekend, staying in a mate's place, of which is where I'm broadcasting from his apartment room right now, his little bedroom. So
your parents kicked him out of the house, didn't you?
Sorry? My parents kicked me out.
No more
They
fucking
booted
pizza.
me out after last week's stream. Booted me out after last week's stream. After Dave's bright idea of sneak into your mother's room and grab the charger. Yes. Brilliant idea.
Oh, wow.
And you get thrown out. That's why I'm staying with my friend.
Wrong charger, Conrad.
So
wow.
I'm having a good time. Just getting a little stressful organising everything. I've still got to get accommodation sorted in London, but other than that, all good. And what about you, Jeff?
Oh, geez. I just.
Sorry, that's Andrew's job.
Well,
Keep going around.
it works. The same old. It works. But no, I just been. Speaking of works, that's all I've just been doing. Work. I work. I get up. I go back to work. And repeat. So my highlight of the week is here. As I've said many times, Thursdays has been my new go-to day. And does that mean what I think it means? TikTok about to drop.
The Bing.
Yeah.
My Bing. Yeah.
Your Bing. Yeah.
Yeah. It's saying game
Ripper
over.
Owens
Man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Game over. Game
Man, you
over.
got electricity in fucking Sydney or what?
We're fucked, man. We're doomed. No, I have a charger issue. Let's just say. So if it drops out,
My phone's
I know
plugged
what you
in,
get
but
for your
my
birthday.
plugged in.
I'll have it sorted by next week. All right.
I'm going to send you a charger for your birthday. Yeah.
We're all professional on this show, Conrad.
Sorry?
We're all professional on this show.
Yeah,
I can see that. I can see that.
Well,
yeah.
All right.
Did you not notice that last week? Just how professional we are.
I'll have to whip that hamster a bit harder to get it around that wheel.
he's oiled. He's oiled though. You can't hear it. It's very well oiled. Yeah.
Reality shit, man. We've sunk to new lows.
Let's not bring up oil again because of Ravishing Rack Rude last week. Okay, we don't.
No, we
need
just
oil
man.
in the conversation.
Ravishing
Dave will
Rack.
start thinking about Tim Curry and stockings again, and then it's all over.
No.
So
And then he falls over. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Then he falls
Get
over.
off my feet. The pair have never been the same since. I don't know if it's going to last.
Yeah.
You were trying to do it up the other day. So
I know. Fucking spook came out.
all right. I'll get to doing my bit and piece in the usual thing in a second, but we are going to quickly leap ahead to doing the battle here quickly before Conrad's computer dies and before it's got to run off to see the mighty Tim Ripper Owens in just a few minutes. So obviously in the comments, in the description, as always, there are reference tracks for this one too. But we are going to launch here into our King of the Riff concept album battle for this week. It is the second round. It is the Beatles, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band versus Savatage, Streets, a Rock Opera, because Conrad is the one that's on the time issue. Let's go to Conrad first. And just in case, I do have a video backup, just queued up just in case things go pear-shaped. But Conrad, have the floor.
Fantastic. Look, like last week, this is really difficult to do because it's like apples and oranges, both these records. Same with last week's as well, being the Who's Tommy and Nightwish's Imaginarium. Certainly the same here with Sgt. Pepper's and Sabatage's Streets, a Rock Opera. The question is one, I wouldn't say one's better than the other. It's just different to one another. But then again, for the purposes of this battle, we're going to call it a battle, or we're going to, we have to call it that, but we have to choose one. Yeah. Out of the two of them, I'm going to go with Pepper's, Sgt. Pepper's. I just think it flowed a bit better. The song seemed to flow. It was an easier to digest. It was a much easier listening, digestive listen. And the songwriting's phenomenal, and it's 50 years old now, and it sounds still sounds good after 50 years. It's pretty impressive. So for an album to have that cultural impact 50 years later is pretty impressive. And I believe it's the first concept album in rock culture history. So, and it has therefore its significance can't be overstated. It's impressive, definitely. I did love, in saying that, I did really thoroughly enjoy Savatage's.
Has it happened? Has it happened? We heard the ding of death. I think we heard the ding of death.
The ding of death. Well, I think it's fair to say we know which way he was going.
Yes, we do know which way he was going in the end. There.
Yep.
Just for reference, in the backup video that I had queued up ready to go, he went on to say that he thoroughly enjoyed both releases. Actually, I don't know. Did you watch the video, Dave? Because you organised it to be sent through to me. So
I checked the length. 4 minutes.
Okay. Wow. So Dave's priority was checking the length. I don't know what that says about you, but okay.
Comrade's length is 4 minutes. Fucking hell.
But yeah, no, he did really thoroughly enjoy both albums, and it wasn't the case of, is which one better than the other one. It's more a case of which one you're going to gravitate to more when it comes to what you want to listen to. He thought the actual narrative in Streets was better. He just enjoyed the overall music composition and the flow that was presented in Sgt. Pepper's, and was more historically relevant as well. So he thought the impact historically couldn't be overlooked, and so he went with Sgt. Pepper's in the end as well. There are a lot of comments coming through. We'll get to the comments in the section. We're just going to quickly sort of rattle this part off here, and then we'll start going back into the regular swing of things. But I'm glad we got Conrad to at least get his thoughts in there before shit went pear-shaped.
We could just move on with the show in normal order now, because technically we got his vote. We know where he was going.
All right, we can if you want. I'm good with that.
Hey, I don't care. I'm just saying it was an idea. Because obviously, well, yeah, I think had his one, his not going to see Ripper Owens. I'm jealous, and two, his camera had not, because he doesn't have electricity where he is. Yeah,
maybe. Hang on a second. We might
coming back.
Yes, we have.
Hey, part two. All right.
I'm on the phone.
Well done.
I'm doing this via phone now.
That's awesome.
Okay, I've managed to operate the phone to do this. Okay, sorry, where was I? Sgt. Pepper's, yes, brilliant. Straight. I loved Savatage's Streets of Rock opera as well. It was a very Broadway sound. It had a Broadway New York vibe to it, and funnily enough, after listening to it, I went and researched it to find out the story, read into the story of it, and it was set in New York. And I thought that when I was listening to it, I said, this sounds like it might be set in New York. And it was. Yeah. What I do find about these concept albums, and they're all about tragedy, man. They're all about death and tragedy. It's like, can we listen to a concept album that isn't a story about fucking tragedy? They're all really grim. They're all really grim, except Sgt. Pepper's. That wasn't so grim. That was a bit more of an uplifting experience. So my reasoning for leaning to Pepper's as opposed to Savatage, both, as I said, very different apples and oranges. Savatage musically, I'm more of a rock metal guy, so musically I'd lean towards that. But as far as the song structure and the flow and the digestiveness of it, I'm leaning towards Pepper's, so therefore it wins it. But I did thoroughly enjoy Savatage as well. It was good, and the story was very interesting. That I can just see so many bands that happening. I could see that story could very well happen to quite a lot of bands out there, and musicians in bands. I could definitely see that kind of thing could happen, very, very much so. It was pretty grim, but nevertheless, it was an enjoyable experience for sure.
Indeed.
So, but Peppers is going to go through. So to those metal fans out there, I hope you're not all going to scream at me and abuse the screen, but abuse the fuck out of me and start screaming and throwing things at the screen. But Sgt. Pepper's going to win this one for me, I'm afraid to say. On grounds of its just the cultural significance of it, being that it stands the test of time, and the way it sounds 50 years later. I think 55 years later, and you know, I mean, to think that I could connect, that I could enjoy it, and it's not my generation, it's my parents' generation, you know, that it's their generation that it came out in, and I still found it enjoyable. So yeah, that's why I think it gets it. I don't think people are going to be talking about Streets, a rock opera, you know, in the same way in another 20 years, as that album is 30 years old. And I was quite shocked to learn that it was 30 years old, actually, because it still sounds pretty good, you know, 30 years later. It came out in 91, so I was impressed to discover that. It sounds solid, and I love that guitar tone. That guitar tone he's got is great. It's got a great tone, and you know that straight away. Whenever you hear that tone, you know it's Savatage straight away. You know, it's unmistakable, that tone. It's great. But yeah, I think I'm going to vote on Peppers for this one.
Sorry, I'm just laughing at my dog because I went to get him from the fence line, and now he's sort of got his head out of the door again to sort of shoot, and he's trying to sort of worm his way through, and he's sort of just stuck halfway. He'll get out fine, but it's just funny watching this great big fucking 80-kilo dog try to fucking worm his way out of a door. It's just, what are you doing, you idiot? So yeah, he's an idiot. But no, that was good. I'm glad we got you back there.
Yeah,
Conrad, for that.
Sorry it died. Sorry it died. It won't happen again, I promise. I'll make sure. I'll have a charger.
Yes. Just before you do,
I'll buy a new hamster. Buy a new hamster.
Get two.
Just don't get them from Wish, because you don't know what you're going to get if that happens. But no, we're going to be picking producers later on for the battle of the bands kind of thing. So for the Builder Band thing. So which producer out of the big four of, you know, the thrash band albums, which producer would you go with if you had a choice?
This is a no-brainer for me, and I wish you'd come back and do more of their records, and that is Max Norman. I would love to see Max Norman come on board for more Megadeth records.
Nice.
Fantastic producer. Absolutely. He got the best. I think he really got the best out of that. He really pushed him. Really pushed that band. And I think what he did was pretty phenomenal. I know that when they recorded Countdown, he was getting the plectrum on the bass string and the kick pedal hitting the kick drum. He was getting them in sync, getting them to play in sync. It was that precise. Yeah. So I mean that level of attention to detail, I think, is incredible, and his input also with I think he just was brilliant for that band, and I'd love to see him come back on board. So he
started as an engineer. He was an engineer.
He got on board with. I mean, he did Aussie. Yeah, he did some other. I don't know if he's still. I hope he's still working. I hope he's still.
I don't think he is. I think he's retired now. But I think I watched. Look, he started out. He was an engineer for Blizzard of Oz. That was his first thing. And then Ozzy fired the producer and said, "You're in." He just was like, "Okay," and he had to do it. And look how brilliant that album came out. Yeah. You know.
Yeah. And then he was Mike Klink. I think Mike Klink at the time was working. They had Mike Klink involved with Rust in Peace. Yeah. And Mike Klink had to go off and do he didn't have to do Appetite. I think maybe some Use Your Illusions or something. I don't know. Mike Klink had to go off and do the Guns N' Roses thing. So Max Norman was pulled in to do Rust in Peace, and did some good stuff on Rust in Peace, and then had for him to come on and do Countdown, and then did Euthanasia afterwards, and those albums just sound fucking great. They sound so rich and strong. So yes, Max Norman, undeniable, without a shadow of a doubt, no question about it.
Nice, well done.
Definitely. Yeah,
cool. There we go.
Right.
Before we let you go, let's go through some comments just to catch up on things here. So Michael has jumped in and saying, "Good evening, all. Good to see you again as always. Thanks for jumping in." Vinny, our good friend Vinny, has gone, "Evening, legends. Looking forward to another action-packed stream on the whiskey. Dave shall not sip alone, none will sip alone, which is good."
I'm kind of sorry. I'm picking off
whiskey.
I'm kind of sorry I'm going off to see Ripper Owens because I'd like to hang around and see the other show that's going to happen this evening. You know?
The funny thing is that Vinny's on whiskey and Dave's on wine, and Dave's regularly on the wine. I'm like, I'd love to see Dave do a stream on the whiskey. That'd just be entertaining for them.
If someone wants to buy me whiskey, fucking yeah, I'll do it.
I'll send you some Crown Royal, Dave.
There we go.
There you go. I will.
All right.
Crown Royal Black is the shit.
There we go. Michael's here saying, "Hey all, good to see you." Vinny's asking, "What's the special on the menu tonight, Thor?" So there we go.
Not cooking tonight. No Gordon Ramsays tonight.
No Gordon
It's more like Julia Child, actually.
Oh well, Chris says, "Good to." I said I before. Sorry, I'm back and forth. It's great influencing the youth to our Devil's music. My 8-year-old grandson religiously requests Hall of the Mountain King when we're both in the car. That is awesome, man. Well done. Darren says, "You spoke about Nightwish. That was last week." Vinny says, "To be honest, though, we all just wanted to say hi to your mum. It was never about the charger." So,
yeah, there we go.
Oh wow!
I believe someone wanted to see my parents going at it as well.
The bedroom thing. Oh yeah.
It's interesting.
Hey, if old people are doing it, it makes me happy. It means I got something to shoot for when I'm older.
Call my parents. Don't you be calling my parents old.
Well, he's also calling so take your pick, Conrad.
Never know where we're going with this. This is always
mate, we're only early as well, so this could go anywhere tonight. Guy says, "Will there be a Metallica Monopoly stream?" I'll have the top hat. Thank you very much. That'd be interesting, but I don't think anyone wants to watch us play Monopoly.
We need 4 boards and like the honesty system, and yeah, that could work.
It won't work, Dave. You know it won't work. Like someone will fucking fall over and knock it all off the table and go, "Where the fuck were we again?" And it'll be over. Like that's what's going to happen. Yeah. So. And it'll be you, just for the record.
Is Gerald replaced by Napster? Because they're fucking hilarious.
Oh, that's a good one, actually. Nicole says, "Jealous of Connor saying Iron Maidens." Yes, very much. I think we all are.
Not maiden, my dear, just the maidens.
The women, yeah. Which much more visually appealing.
Yeah. I like to see those aces high.
Oh, God, here we go. Here we go. We're off. Guy says, "I'm sure Jeff will sport a little Monopoly bell." So there we go.
Oh, fuck, I forgot the bell thing. I
was wondering about that just then, but oh well. But on to this one, just to get some love here. Michael agrees with you, Sarge Peppers, as well there for that battle for you, Conrad. Gears here is always saying, "Hello, all Viking warriors. Good to see you as well." But Vinny retorted, "Mum has the remote." So there we go. Arlo, Conrad, you've gone Marceau. Time to go to Ripper. So there we go.
Oh, right. Okay. That's my marching orders to my mate saying to me, get your shit together, mate. We're heading off.
Well, we've got you for another couple of minutes. So Gear also says, "Hello, all Viking warriors. Viking Queen have started to talk to the label Frontiers." Nice. So we hope the label to sign.
I was listening to them again this week. I do like them. Cool. They're really good.
Nice. I'll have to keep remembering to go back to that one. Nice.
It's good stuff.
Arlo's chimed in saying, "Not apples and oranges, salt and peppers." So just here we go. Okay. The audience are in. Rowan says, "First, Sgt. Pepper isn't a concept album by the modern definition, more of a conceptual album, but there are another 2 albums I hadn't heard of. I heard, even if many of the Beatles choruses were familiar." So there we go. There is an idea. There is definitely a point there. It's just this is what the audience voted in, so we're just going to run with that. Darren says, "Both great albums. Not my favorite albums from either, but Streets rock opera with the beast that is Chris Oliver. May he rest in peace." Yes, that is.
Yes. One of my favorites.
Yeah.
Arlo's asked, "What happened to the other hamster?" Rowan says they were both easy to listen to. Didn't hate either. Pepper sounds quite old to my ears, which made it difficult for me to get into. Okay, cool. Good point there. Guys choosing Fleming Rasmussen. Yes, good choice there. And Max Norman, good one, has red hair, which is tying into this all nicely. Rowan says Streets was immediately catchy, though I wonder if thematically I would have preferred Hall of the Mountain King. I'd be more likely to listen to this album again, so Streets for me. Cool.
Fair
Hello
enough.
says, Thor's mum is the bomb. Chris says, I'll be the banker and invent more money out of thin air and you'll all lose. So there we go.
Please do. Please do.
Yeah. Jail like Napster gang rape. Oh, my goodness. Okay.
Where are we going?
No, I don't know where we're going. And Chris says, I don't know, Janik dances around like more of a girl than any female on the Maidens. So then...
Got a point. Yeah.
Man, she can throw the colours in the fucking neck.
Does some pirouettes. Yeah.
And Nicole says, phew, I feel better, not more appealing for me. So there we go with Nicole retorting about the Iron Maidens versus Iron Maiden. All right, Arlo's jumped in saying, great show, guys. Enjoy the rest of it. Ripper time for us. It is indeed. So thanks for jumping in, Arlo, and thanks to Conrad for jumping in there. We'll let you jump out, buddy, and go and enjoy the show tonight. And we'll see you next week.
Have a good one, bud.
Yeah, sorry, guys. I do apologize. I am sorry. Next week, I will be involved next week.
Say hi to Ripper for us.
Next week, man.
No worries. And bye to all your viewers. Cheers for tuning in.
Thank you. No worries. We'll see you soon, mate. Take it easy. Enjoy the show.
Bye-bye.
Cool. All righty. So I'll remove this one, that one there from there. Cool. All right. So what do we got here? So, guys in houses will be houses Jack built and garages for hotels. So there we go. And then Nicole says, enjoy Conrad. So yes, he'll say that one later on. Michael asks, anyone going to watch Perth metal band Voyager compete in Eurovision tomorrow morning? I'll be getting up early to cheer them on. We'll try to. Definitely try to. Depends how late we get out of here tonight. But yeah, I'll be definitely trying to get up. What time does that start, Michael? I don't know what time it starts. So let me know what time it starts, and I'll see if I can get up and...
Well, VTR, maybe recorded or something if you can't be up.
Oh, it'll be on YouTube in a minute flat anyway, so it's Eurovision, so it'll be fine. All right, so we know that Conrad is going with Beatles for this one. So we'll actually go back and revert to things, and we'll go back to the normal order of things, and then we'll work our way down to it, and then we'll get our good friend, our good guest tonight, Chris, coming in a bit later on for this one as well. Michael is showing me saying 5 a.m., but here it may not be around. They may be on around 6 a.m., but it's not 100%. Okay, cool. Well, we'll try and dig in a bit deeper there. Guy says Alistair Crowley's on the cover of Pepper, very wicked, and it's a grave. Nice. I haven't really looked. I know there's a lot of Easter eggs in the artwork, but I haven't paid a lot of attention to it. Absolutely. All right, so we'll go back to the start quickly here. For my just catch up on what I've been doing, not a lot, just working and packing and editing and all the usual shit that I get up to. That's basically everything it is to worry about for me this week. Just paying attention to what's been happening at the Tote, which we'll get into that discussion in a little bit as well. That's been the most sort of newsworthy thing coming across my world. Otherwise, just been working, editing, and packing. That's about it this week. So very, very straightforward, but everything's good. Everyone's happy, healthy, well. Dogs are running around and causing fights by the fence line. Not actually, but you know what I mean. And just sort of, yeah, everything's good. Can't complain.
Did he get through the door? Door?
He got out. He got out. Yeah. He's not still stuck there. If he was still stuck there, I'd have gotten up and moved. Believe me, if he wanted to, that door would not hold him. Like he would just walk straight through the fucking thing. He's a bit big for that one. He'd just knock it off its rail and that'd be it. All right, let's talk about a couple of new tunes here for a second. Let's go with Dave's choice first. So there's a link, as always, in the description and now one in the comments too. This is the latest from Melbourne band Palace of the King. It's called Friends in Low Places. It's the title track from the upcoming album. I'm not sure when that's due for release yet. I don't know if Dave's got more info than I do. But Dave, this is your choice. So what made you pick this one?
Palace of the King. Enough said. Yeah. These guys are always good. You know, one day they'll probably release a song where I'm just like, yeah, it's all right. But that's never happened. Every song they release is like, holy shit, this is really, really good. You know, this is an upbeat rocker, killer riff, nice use of the slide. It gives that old bluesy feel to it, but it's also very rocking. Earworm chorus, you can't not get that stuck in your head. And it's very handy to have friends in your low place. Cheers. There's cool lead breaks after the choruses, which is nice song structure. There's always room for solos, never enough solos. The drum beat just gives it that toe tapping feel. This would be awesome live, but then Palace of the King are always awesome live. But yeah, they had a song out a couple of weeks ago. It's another one, but fuck, looking forward to this new album. They're always good.
Have you managed to give this one a listen, Jeff, at all, or is this new to you?
No. I listened to it. Yeah.
What do you think of it?
I really, really enjoyed it. Actually, I thought it was really good. My first thought was "Friends in Low Places." This ain't no Garth Brooks fucking cover. This is rocking, man. This is great. So I really like that. I like Garth Brooks, but this was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this because actually, when I saw the title "Friends in Low Places," I thought this is a Garth Brooks cover. That's fucking weird. And I put it on and went, I'm not disappointed. I would have liked to see that, but I'm not disappointed. This is a really cool version. So I like the song. It's really good. And it left me wanting to hear more from them. So that's a good thing. Yeah. I really enjoyed it.
They got a lot of good stuff, that band. So yeah, if you like this
one.
Yeah.
I have heard a little bit of them before. I need to really get into them. Yeah. Check some more stuff.
Cool. Well, there'll be a new album coming soon. Like I said, I'm not exactly sure when, but I'll keep digging on that one and hopefully we'll get an answer on that. But this one has some real energy and grit to it. Out of the most recent tracks, this is probably the most attacking. This has an almost sort of punk energy to it, which is cool.
It does. Yeah, I was thinking the same. Yeah.
Yeah. Still plenty of melody, but there's some bite in this one too, particularly in the lyrics. But the riff, the grunt in the song was cool. It's not complicated. It's very direct, which is probably why I get the sort of punk sort of feel to it. But like Dave said, I reckon I made a note. I reckon it'd be a heap of fun live. I reckon that'd be an absolutely fantastic song to see live. There's also some nice little production tricks in this. Like there's a little flyover moment of the jet flying over kind of thing, which is a really cool little touch on that one as well. It fit the song actually nicely. And the change up before the end, they change things up. It's got this pretty direct attack all the way through, but then just before the end, it just changes gears, and it's a nice little way to sort of wrap up the song. This, along with all the other tracks they have released and we talked about, makes me look forward to this upcoming album. Like, fuck, I'm pumped. Like that diversity on display. They're always really expansive and diverse, but just I like what they're doing. And this could be a really, really cool and easy to get into album as well, which would be really just cool to hear them take that on. But I think we're in for a hell of an album coming up. So bring it on as far as I'm concerned. I'm looking forward to it. So that was a really good find. Nice. I didn't know that one had dropped, Dave. So yeah, you put me on that one nicely. Cool. So thank you for that very much.
Thank you. Yep. Enjoyable.
Alrighty. From there, we'll move on to the next one, which is my choice this week, which is Fight the Sun with their latest track, Good Boy. It's a few weeks old now as we talk about it, whereas, Palace of the King is like a few days old. This one's a few weeks old. But Fight the Sun are a band we've been covering for a while. We had them play at one of our Whole Lot of Love events a while back as well. But it's funny how these two songs sort of go hand in hand a little bit. There's an energy kind of or a gritty approach that they work well together. It's a gritty little track, lots of rumble in it. I love the open space though, in this in particular for the bass and the vocals to really sort of shine on. And these guys do the darker side of heavy rock really, really well. It's got good melody. It's got a neat little hook in it as well, which is pretty cool. And the the mid-song tempo shift was just with the softer vocal was a nice touch on this one too. There's a little synth element in this one as well. This one has a different mixing, like the vocal sort of gets put under a little bit, which is, not a bad little thing on this one. Just sort of stands out for all the right reasons because they're doing something a bit different. It just sort of grabs your attention. Go, okay, got to pay a bit more attention to this song. They packed a lot into the bit over 3 minutes that it goes for. It's another great track from these guys. I love this band. I think they do nothing wrong at all. And this apparently concludes a little series of songs that they've been releasing. So if you like this, go and check out the rest. But they've got a new chapter starting soon. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's happening because, this band just keep releasing good songs. Like Dave said, the Palace of the King. You wait for them to release a song that goes, okay, that's okay. But they never do. They always release a cracker, which is impressive to me. Let's throw to Jeff next. You've heard this one as well, I take it?
Yep. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. In fact, there's a guitar part in this song. This is groove thing that I was just like instantly fell in love with. And I'm like, fuck, I'm going to learn to play that. That was awesome. Cool. I really enjoyed it. So nice. Great song. It just had me going. There was an energy to it that I really liked. And just a really nice groove that I think a lot of music sometimes lacks that catchiness that sort of sticks in your head like an earworm, Yeah. And this has that, So I really enjoyed that. Like I said, I will learn that guitar part because I loved it.
Nice.
The tone was awesome, and I loved I liked it.
Cool.
So, very cool.
How'd you go, Dave?
Yeah, great song. As Jeff said, following on from that, a lot of bands rock. Not many bands have that role.
Yeah.
The rock on the roll, and this has definitely got that. This song is fucking smoking. It's just filled with energy. Perfect for a sunny day today. We had a nice day and had this going in my car when I was having lunch. Drums are fucking pounding. That's cool. And I like how during the verses, you got the vocals and the drums, and then the guitar comes in halfway through the verse. I thought that was a nice little tool during the first one. Nice instrumental section in the middle. Not exactly a solo, but it's kind of an instrumental section with some vocalizations going over. I thought that was a nice change in mood. The song goes for like 4 minutes, and they do a lot within that. And then you got the return to the main energy. Cool hook in the chorus. And as Andrew said, this band always delivers. Fight the Sun releasing a song every few months or so, and it's always good. Always good. But yeah, definitely check the song out.
Yeah,
cool. So we got a couple of good ones there. I don't know if Jeff, did you have one that you were bringing to the table that I haven't heard this week, or?
No. One of these days I'll surprise you with something. But I listen to what you guys put up, and my outside of that, if I do listen to something, it's something that I've listened to 1,000 times. So I listen to a lot of music, but it's usually something that I know, right? Because I have those warm, soft spots that I love to revisit mentally. And, like I'm listening to Blizzard of Oz or Dire of Madman or, Metallica or something, and Justice or who knows. I'm listening to something over and over and over again. That's my biggest thing is when you guys were showing me, bands that I've never heard of. It's like, fuck yeah, this is starting to open up my eyes a little bit to what's out there. And I'm starting to realize that I need to listen to and open up and listen to more variety and different bands and stuff, because otherwise I just keep eating the same fucking food every day. And you get bored of that shit, right? You gotta do something and mix it up. So
it's all right. Yeah. We'll learn you.
You guys are doing a good job for that, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
It's all good. Well, Dave goes and gets himself some more drinks, people, so get ready for the fun to follow after all this. Let's get to some more comments. Some say Paul is dead. Back to the cover of Peppers there for a second. That's a rumor that's been kicking around for a while. And it seems like the guy playing Paul is a bloke called Billy Shears. Well, that's an interesting... Yeah, there is a lot of... It's funny, you deep dive into the conspiracy side of the Beatles, and it's like there's some interesting stuff to dig through if you are so inclined.
There is. Even the logo, the way the Beatles is spelled out, there's something... I remember reading something that the way that some of the letters and the flowers are offset, that there was some sort of hidden meaning in that. I mean, it's just 55 or 56 years of conspiracy shit going on with that, which is cool. That's a really
cool
a lot
of time to sort of marinate, hasn't it? It sounds pretty well for itself.
It has. Yeah, that's right.
But following that, guy says the Palace thingy, very cool, bit sleazy. Okay, cool. And Rowan also said at 2:31, all the fat trim from that song, they did very good at that. They really did lean that one up. It's actually, for Palace of the King, it's one of the shorter songs, which is quite remarkable. David's here. Good to see you, buddy. Hopefully you keep well. He's gone friends in low places. Garth Brooks, g'day, all the best. But Vinny says, great choice, Dave. Really enjoyable. Chris says, friends in low places. Metal cover would be awesome. Let's make it happen. Hey, that'd be an interesting idea.
It would be cool. It's a great song. Cool. It should. Yeah. That's what I thought I was getting. And then I'm like, okay, this isn't. But I really enjoyed it for what it was. So I wasn't disappointed.
Nice. Cool.
So any bands out there, if any bands out there that play, do, Friends in Low Places, Garth Brooks cover. That would be fucking metal version. That would be fucking awesome.
That would be. I haven't heard the songs. I have to go and check.
Oh, you've never? Oh, what? Oh my god!
Oh, come on, because I spend my time listening to Garth Brooks. Like, what the fuck?
I know, but that's of all his songs, that's just like probably his most iconic song.
I probably would know it if I heard it, but I can't.
It's a great
recall.
song.
Yeah.
It's a great song. It's just about a guy that him and his wife have split, and he just shows up at her. I don't know if it's her engagement or whatever, and basically he just toasts the bride and the groom, and basically there's some veiled threats going on there, and it's really a cool.
Okay,
it's cool, very cool.
All right, I'll have to check it out. Just to educate myself on that one. But not something I normally gravitate toward, but I'll definitely.
Well, there you go. See, you guys have educated me now.
Oh, and now it's the way. Yeah, that's it, and that's what it's all about. So I'll go and check that out for you. Okay.
All right.
Daniel is here saying, check out the Hong Kong sleepover. Okay, will do, definitely. Maybe put a link in the comments that I can scroll through later on. But thanks for jumping in and saying hi. Good to see you. Definitely. Whatever new music, put it in the comments. I'm happy to check it out. I'll scroll through later on after we're done here. Joel is here saying hi, Jen. Sorry I'm break again, but for 30 minutes watching, all cheers. The oldie Dave. So yes, That is cool. Thank you for joining us, Joel. I know it's usually on your break for you, but hopefully you get to enjoy some of this stuff here tonight. Michael's gone. Dave got off his chair. Phew. Thought his better half might have strapped him down. You know, it'd be funny if he fell while strapped into the chair. I'd like to see him try and get up. The only downside is I can't pan his camera from here. That'd be the awesome. That'd be the best thing that I could,
Well,
if I.
I was gonna say, what you do is like just do like a montage of Dave getting up from his chair and then having that one. Like 30 seconds of just Dave getting up and leaving, and then boom,
the one falling over. That's not a bad idea. A pain in the ass to edit, but not a bad idea.
It would be.
Oh, here we go. Benjamin's joined us saying, "Hey Ozzy, how's it been going? Hanging on that land? Pretty good. Been raining over here in Kiwi land a fucking month now. Non-stop bullshit and soggy bollocks for all. Only the frogs are pleased. Just don't fall down again like you did last time. That'd be
I'm good.
Yes. Here we go. Dave timed that coming into the conversation perfectly. Chris says maybe ain't going down till the sun comes up. Metal cover as a B-side.
That's another Garth Brooks song. Yeah.
There we go. Guys going, Dave fell over last week, mate. Last week, Dave lost.
Watch last week's episode. You can't.
Yeah, watch last week's show. It's fucking
2 hours, 30-minute mark.
Yeah, Dave's even got it time stamped.
Well, you did that little montage anyway, so it's on.
I did.
there.
There's a short video. Yeah, so it's on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and
everywhere,
and TikTok as well. Actually, so you can check it out on any of those platforms, Guy, and have a look at that. Dave fell over. It was actually rather funny. Here we go. Chris goes, Garth Brooks is my guilty pleasure as far as country goes. That's cool. We did have this whole thing not long ago about not guilty pleasures, innocent pleasures, because whatever makes you enjoy it, then that's a good thing. Yeah. Chris followed up with, where the fuck did Dave go? Is he out squishing the grapes?
Make my own fresh.
Yeah.
I had to grab something as well that I
You've been
forgot.
squishing grapes. Show us your feet, Dave. Show us your feet.
No, I'm not doing that again.
I've seen this movie before. I know what happens next. Speaking of, imagine this: a GoPro on Dave would be cool. Imagine the GoPro on Dave's head when he fell over.
Wow! Fucking hell! See the ceiling and the floor, ceiling again,
and the wall somewhere in there. All right. Daniel is going. You can check out their stuff on YouTube. The Hong Kong, what was it again? The Hong Kong sleepover. So we'll have a look at that for sure. And Lee says we are officially on Dave Watch, which that's every week, isn't it? So here we go. Nicole's gone. Get Tommy Johansson onto a cover of Garth Brooks. Wow,
man, we've really opened up that. Isn't it?
We have.
Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're going. We're going to the joint. Hey,
Johnny Cash is better than Garth Brooks.
Johnny Cash is dead. So
this is true.
Yeah.
I mean,
makes it hard.
They're both awesome. They're both legends, right? In their field. I think both have merits. I won't say anything bad about Johnny Cash. He certainly paved the road for a lot of even
you wouldn't get
rock
Garth Brooks
music
without. I don't think you get Garth Brooks without.
That's right. You wouldn't. So
welcome to the Hard Country Show.
Well,
Yeah, well, God, this is gonna be interesting. Anyway, I don't know where we're going next. Wow. Okay. What do we got? We got Jeez, more comments. Okay, cool. Benjamin says, been getting into Warren Ziders, Zach Bryan, and Tyler Childers recently. Even been singing that shit in an American accent and everything. Wow, there we go. We're getting into the country vibe for everyone here. My daughter will be proud. Michael asks, is there going to be a limited edition case of Hard Rock Show wine endorsed by Dave?
Finally. I'm just waiting for LD
Chairman Dave. Was that
Chairman Dave? I think it's meant to be Chairman Dave.
Yeah. That's a pun in there. Chairman Dave.
There's a little pun in there. Yes.
Yeah.
True. So that the Chairman Dave Aldi wine limited pressing. I don't know. What
they should sponsor me.
What's that?
Promote their product.
They should.
They should. So, on the side of all
wine, it'll make you get off your
stuff because drink responsibly.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. But anyway, Michael says, I'm keen to hear the new Warning song more out at midnight tonight. Oh, cool. New track. The live versions I've heard so far sound amazing. Probably the best song to date. It's the first song they have co-written with 2 other people, anyone else outside of the 3 sisters in the band. That's cool.
They're an interesting band, The Warning. They're quite interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last album last year was really good. Error. Haven't checked that out.
Yeah.
Worth your time. Here we go. Chris says, okay, Folsom Prison Blues metal cover. Let's make it an EP. Okay, we're getting into the metal country crossover territory big time. Wow. Twitch followed up with all this country talk. I feel like I want to sleep with my sister, and I don't even have one. So there we go.
Means it's okay then. Yeah.
Oh wow. And here we go. Jolie's gone. Jeff, you sound so much better this week. Glad you're well. I love country. Cheers. So there we go. There's some love.
Thank you. I felt like absolute hammered dog shit last week, but I did it. You got through.
And you're better this week, which is
I'm much better. Yeah.
All right, let's do a gig plug. In the comments, in the description box, as always, there is a gig plug here. It is for the Warbirds Collider launch. So I'm going to quickly open this up. So it's Warbirds. It's Saturday, the 20th of May at 8 o'clock at the Tote, which is, funny coming up in a second. But yeah, Collider is a launch with the Revelation and Snub. So we got the machine that is Warbirds is kicking back into gear to launch their latest single, Collider. It's a rip-snorting banger. They'll be joined by hard-rocking hellions, the Revelation, and the badass crew that is Snub, with a special guest to be announced in what will be an absolute event. Make sure you get your tickets pre-sale. We will see you there for sure. I'm going to quickly look up. Tickets are like $17.35 online pre-sale. And Warbirds, if you've never seen Warbirds live before, my God, you're in for a treat. They are one of the best bands going around. I couldn't rate Warbirds high enough on a live set. Like, I love their music, recorded stuff, but live, it's just something else, the way they play. And I think Danny from Blaze is currently on bass duties as well, which makes it even more of an interesting little element there to bring into it, because Danny also sings, so the addition of extra harmony work could be really cool with what we're
in Moments Apart years ago, weren't they? So they've been in band.
Yeah.
So they work well together. Fucking good. And the video for the song's coming out tomorrow as well.
It is, yes, which I'm very keen on that as well. So yeah, if you like,
I may have seen it.
You may have seen it. Okay.
I may have seen it. It's fucking good. It's really good.
You sneaky boy, didn't even tell me. No, it's really cool. These guys do great stuff. All their releases are fantastic, so make sure you get around them. And even if you don't go to the gig, just check out the video that drops tomorrow, just to give the guys some love as well. I'm pretty sure we'll be playing it on TV soon, and I'm pretty sure at this rate it'll be Dave's pick of the week next week if nothing else comes to mind. Yeah, so there we go. So there's our gig plug for the week. Make sure you get around it. That is Warbirds at the Tote on Saturday, the 20th of May, which will be a cracking show with the Revelation and Snub and an unannounced as yet special guest. So get around it, folks. Benjamin's gone, I have a friend from Alabama. So there we go. Just going into the country stuff here. Chris has asked Jeff, who was the first person hit dog shit with a hammer to come up with that phrase?
Chris Christopherson. Yeah. Another country reference. Yeah. He did so in, he said he felt like hammer shit, and that was in Blade when he was the Blade's, do you remember the movie Blade? With Wesley Snipes, the vampire.
Yeah.
I remember Blade.
He said, I feel like hammered dog shit, and it just stuck in my head and never forgot it.
Okay,
he's a country guy, country singer. So there you go. We've come full circle. Yeah.
This is going wild.
Movies. The only one I can remember is Dolly Parton on stage singing with Sylvester Stallone.
It's Rhinestone Cowboy, or is it?
Yeah. It's like years ago. It's never left my mind. It's fucking horrifying.
Well, speaking of, Lee's jumped in saying, saving my country tendencies for Dolly Parton's upcoming Rockstars covers album. Heaps of guests, including Rob
I can't wait for that.
That's actually really cool.
It's going to be very cool.
It's like 20 songs, and there's lots of well-known people on there.
Yeah, everybody wants to play with her. I
mean, fucking yes.
Musically.
Dave, you leaped straight in. I hope Julia watches that bit in particular. So
you've heard me talk about Dolly before.
Yeah.
Parton or the sheep? Because now I'm really concerned.
Quite good.
Dolly the sheep?
Yeah, the clone.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Anyway, we're off the rails.
There's a Canadian duo, right, called McLean and McLean. They're a musical group, and they do like comedy and stuff like that. They're both dead now, I think, but they did a song many years ago called Dolly Parton's Tits. It's a classic song. You want to Google that? Just Google that on YouTube.
Wow.
Dolly Parton's Tits, McLean and McLean. You'll love it.
Oh my
Hey,
goodness.
I'll be honest. I've Googled Dolly Parton's tits a few times, and McLean and McLean never come up.
Lucky you. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh boy.
We're barely started, folks. We're going to be here for a while yet. What do we got here? Michael says, I consider going to the Warbirds gig, but I've since been approved to photograph a gig at the Forum that night. Oh, that's cool. That's a good reason. That's a good reason.
Yeah.
There we go. Vinny says, great news on the Tote, by the way. They crushed their goal at the 11th hour. We will get to that in just a moment with our hot topic this week. Man family, good to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well out there. They've been getting into REM a bit lately. Okay, cool. I haven't listened to heaps of them personally.
They were one of the first 45 records I bought when I was a young kid. Their song
Orange Crush. Orange Crush, stand in the place. Yeah, a great song.
And for like a 7 or 8 year old young kid, it's not a real song that you gravitate to, but I fucking thought it was great. So I got the 45. But nobody else I knew even knew who this band was.
No. Like even
never really got into them after that though. It's just that one song. I always thought that was cool.
Losing My Religion. I always loved that because I was like, considered myself a bit of an atheist. And so I like that. I like the theme of it. Yeah.
No, we just came up with alternative versions and called it Losing My Virginity. We had whole different versions.
Well, did Al Yankovic, did he not do something of that? I think he might have.
Yes, he did. I forget what it was, but he did something on that. Yeah.
Poker, wasn't it?
I don't know. Yeah, speaking of him, I just watched his movie.
It's odd.
Like it. It's very weird. It's very off the wall. It's very strange.
I don't know if I can handle Harry Potter as Weird Al.
No, he does a good job.
Actually, no, the acting is good. You got it. It's the way it's edited and the script.
It's a really weird. Yeah, it's the script.
I'll give it a watch.
It's the script.
Yeah. Is it better than the Vidiot from the early 80s? Because that was cool.
The what?
The Vidiot from UHF, the Weird Al Yankovic movie from the 80s.
Oh, I don't remember that.
I don't know. I only saw it in bits and pieces. I didn't watch the whole thing, but what I did see of it was just odd. Well, Dave.
He's got it. He's got it. He's going to get the DVD.
Of course. I remember it, but I don't remember it being a part of the movie.
I mentally blocked it. I think I did.
It's too dark in here. I don't actually have a light in here, but there's like bootleg DVDs of copies. Some stuff you can't find very well.
Dave, you're on a live stream. Whispering doesn't mean shit, just so you know.
Don't tell anyone. It's from Torrent Theatre.
Oh my god, here we go.
You can collect stuff from the bottom shelves. It's probably on YouTube, but Weird Al Yankovic basically inherits a cable network, and he comes up with all these old shows. Yeah. So you got like Gandhi, like Rambo, and Conan the Librarian. And it's got the guy that played Kramer and the nanny.
Yeah. Oh man.
No, it wasn't like that. It was sort of a satirical autobiographical film, which just went over the top. Mind you, there was that Rambo scene in it, which is just what the fuck.
Fantastic. I want to see it.
They called it weird, and it really felt weird.
It was weird. It lived up to its name.
It did. Really did. But if you're a fan of the guy, watch it. I mean, it's worth watching.
I watch it because I like it. The thing is that don't watch it with the. It's like, Dave, the premise of it all is that it's autobiographical, but done from the concept of that he's not a parody artist. He's meant to be an originals artist, and then the big names end up parodying him. With the song, so in the context of things like "Eat It" came before "Beat It" in real world time in the movie. So
that's cool.
It's brilliant. It's strange. The execution, it's an interesting concept, but the execution.
The relationship with Madonna, of course, was
funny.
Yeah. But that was all fictitious. He never had. There was no relationship like that with Madonna. But hey, it was cool.
And the trip to Colombia. But anyway.
Have you seen the interviews that he did where he did cut up interviews with Eminem and Steven Tyler? You ever see that shit?
I haven't seen that.
Oh, brilliant. Because he doctored an interview of something that was done before and cut himself into it and make the other person completely stupid.
It's kind of clever, actually. Yeah.
You can imagine that working well. Yeah, you can see it working.
He like plays his version of whatever the Eminem song that he parodied. He plays it to Eminem, and Eminem's like, I think it's terrible. And Weird Al's like, well, I can only change the lyrics. The music's your fault.
Yeah, exactly true.
Is it though? Is it? Because I'm pretty sure we've sampled it, so we'll see what happens from there. Anyway, Chris
we digress.
Yeah, we do. Chris has gone, no, Dolly's rock album seems too pedestrian. It's like a shitty Triple M playlist. Dolly's got cred. I'll give her more.
She's got cred.
Yeah.
Upfront cred. Yep.
Yeah. Vinny's gone. He was great as Whistler. This is back to Chris Christopherson, I think. Yeah.
There we go. There we go. Hammered dog shit. That's from the film. Yep.
And Chris Christopherson in Blade. There we go from Benjamin. Michael's gone, Garth, you can keep, but now you're talking quality Jeff with Chris Christopherson. So there we go. You're going to love her, Christopherson. Here.
I absolutely.
You know what? We haven't even gotten to the next segment yet. I'm almost.
Yeah, we're in for a good
Dave's
night.
Going to be going.
Dave's going to find another way to fall off his chair soon. Andrew says the Screaming Jets did a great version of Folsom Prison Blues and the Living in England EP. Good pickup. Good pickup.
Yeah. What a great band they are.
Yeah, I'm scared to read this, but Vinny says, in the great words of Dolly Parton, you can't have the rainbow without the rain, and people just think she's a big pair of tits. So
I told you
than I thought.
Wow.
Benjamin's gone, this is getting weird. You have no idea.
It certainly is.
We are in weird territory. Nicole says, I actually have a Chris Christopherson album, which is cool. Nice.
I tell you, he's a legend. He's an absolute. Not only can he play, but he's a great fucking actor. He has been in some really good films.
He's been in some good movies. Yeah. What's he been in?
I don't know. He's a good
movie nerd. Part of me taking over.
Was he in A Star Is Born? No, I'm not trying. I can't remember now. He's been in lots.
Don't know, but yeah, a lot of music related ones too.
Yes, yeah,
which is cool. Guy says love REM followed by Stand is a Flat Earth song. I didn't know that. I don't know much about REM, but there we go.
Chris Christopherson has acted with Steven Seagal. There's the quality right there.
There we go. Classic quality film.
Convoy. Bunch of fucking trucks driving, following each other.
Convoy, yes, that was awesome. Convoy, well,
the song was better than the movie.
That came out
Payback,
in 1980. Was Convoy? Was that
don't know.
Or maybe 76 or something. I don't know. I'm just.
Ellis doesn't live here anymore.
What do we got here? Vinny says, I remember trying to print a picture of Dolly's tits on a 9-pin printer back in the early 90s. My hardware kept crashing. Well done, Vinny. Well done.
Nice job.
Michael says, the Weird Al movie is odd on purpose. Yes, it is. It's just a bit hard to digest for me personally.
Yeah, same.
Lee says, coincidentally, Orange Crush was my first and only dalliance with REM. Great tracks. There we go. More love for that track.
I haven't liked anything they've done since.
Yeah. There you go. On the same page. Chris says Video was a shitty Australian TV show on the ABC hosted by Ian Gaha. Fuck, I forgot about that too. Wow, that was not that great. Nicole, when Dave was whispering secret squirrel stuff, Dave, that ain't happening. And I think that film Dave is talking about is called UHF.
Yeah. There's two different titles. The overseas one was UHF, and then we had the UHF. Yeah.
Right.
Good movie.
Michael says, the film is meant to be true. No, it wasn't meant to be a true autobiographical film. We figured that out pretty quickly when it gets to the. If you haven't figured it out by the Colombian part, then I don't know what to tell you. So Charlie says, I'm still watching. Cheers. Got to go. Oh, good to see you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. We'll see you again next time, hopefully. Guy says, and I'm crazy, and you're sitting upside down next to me right now. Come on. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Michael says there is a YouTube show, Hiking with Kevin, which is Kevin Nealon, a Saturday Night Live interview with celebs. One episode is Weird Al. Okay, that'd be interesting. Chris says Christopherson doing Mother with Roger Waters and Sinead O'Connor on lead vocals. Incredible. I have not checked that out. That would be.
I don't think either. Yeah.
Okay, that would be good. Here we go. Guy says Smoking the Bandit is for me. 10
10 for a good buddy. Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Convoy 78. Chris is confirmed.
78. There we go.
And back to that hiking show.
I
The show
was thinking the
premises
Simpsons,
hiking
man.
around Hollywood Hills and interviews his guests at the same time. That is a wild concept. Not bad, though. Imagine getting a really winded fucking interviewee, though. Trying to ask someone questions they can't get their fucking breath in. Anyway, Vinny's gone. Steven Seagal, the stream has left the atmosphere. Yeah, we're out there now. But Michael says, to be honest, felt the same about being hard to digest. Not sure I'll go back straight away to watch the Weird Al film anytime soon. It is an odd one. Like it's good for what it is. It wasn't meant to be, oh my goodness, but it was just odd.
No.
It is, yeah. Here's one. Spaceballs. Who doesn't love Spaceballs?
Who doesn't love
Man,
it?
family.
Yeah.
Spaceballs is an epic one.
The Schwartz is strong with this one.
This one, yeah. I see your Schwartz as big as mine. Damn Raider. What kind?
I bet she'd be great.
Mel
helmet.
Brooks legend classic.
Yeah, I know. That was funny. That was well done. Rick Moranis, I think he owns that one.
Oh
yes.
yeah, he does.
Yeah, it's a shame he stopped acting, but fuck, he was great in that one.
He's going to do a movie.
Comb the beach.
Comb the beach.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids Part 12. What the fuck's he gonna do?
But they couldn't get Rick Moranis for the new Ghostbusters, but they got him out of retirement to do a new Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
I think Honey, I Shrunk the Kids is more his legacy. Ghostbusters is more someone else's legacy.
Yeah.
If you're going to drag someone out for your own legacy versus someone else's, I can see why that might work. But I don't know. All right, let's get on to a hot topic this week. Hot topic is the Tote.
90 minutes in, we're getting to the hot topic.
I know, right? We're fucking cooking. But yeah, no, and Dave, you're wondering what the fuck we talk about for 3 hours. Well, here we go.
A hard movie show.
Yeah, anything and everything. This is why we just go wherever it goes. That's why the live stream's so much fun.
We cover everything.
Yeah. But yeah, the hot topic is the Tote. Now, in the context of things, just so everyone knows, the Tote was up for sale. We covered that campaign that was trying to raise money as promoted by the Last Chance Rock and Roll Bar. For a few weeks, we actually gave that a plug every week. And finally, last weekend, they hit the mark. And actually went a bit over. They were targeting 3 million. They got just under 3.1 million. And with about 6 hours to go, they hit the mark. Oh, no, it was about midday, actually, on Saturday, wasn't it, from memory? Saturday?
Yeah, about that.
About midday, yeah. That was right. Yeah, about midday Saturday, they hit the mark. And, there's video of the live tally going up and the people at Last Chance celebrating. And it was all a huge moment. Everyone was extremely impressed because it was community raised $3 million to save the Tote, basically. That was what it was. Because people that own the Last Chance were able to stump up about 3.5. The asking price was between 6 and 6.5. Which was, cool. That was what the goal was. So once the crowdfunding campaign hit 3 million, everyone was like, okay, cool, we've got this. The campaign was still going, and then the Tote released a statement saying, well done to everyone involved, but there's still a bit more to go. The price is actually 6.65 million, and then basically poured a big old wet blanket on this thing, which, if you've seen the commentary online, everyone, and I mean everyone, has ripped into the current owners of the Tote, and for my opinion, deservedly so. Dave, let's start with you. This whole thing became farcical in the end.
Yeah, first of all, well done, Shane and Leanne at the Last Chance Rock and Roll Bar, and everyone that contributed and shared and pledged, because $3 million is a fucking amazing target to reach. I did not think it was going to happen. And they managed to do it. And leading up to the deadline, like 48 hours before, they actually were well over the $2 million mark. And I thought, fuck, they're actually going to do it. And it gave something for people to get behind, especially, attendance of live shows is dropping. The whole thing is just, so many people got behind this pledge to save the Tote, an iconic Melbourne venue. And they did it. And then, everyone's just like, fuck yeah, we did it. This spanner got thrown in the works, and everyone just kind of died. Or I died inside, just like, fuck, nothing is ever simple, is it? It just really isn't.
No.
Yeah.
Especially this day and age, $3 million is really a lot of fucking money, and everyone that pledged, times are tough. So people actually believed in this shit. And then the goalposts got moved, and the post that went up from the Tote, that was pretty well written. And it wasn't like a spirit of the moment thing. So
no, it was prepared in advance.
Yeah, they obviously knew. wouldn't have pissed as many people off if they had been forthcoming and transparent in the days, weeks, months leading up to it. Because then we kind of know. But it feels like using what has been achieved as a platform to elevate you to a bigger sale somewhere else, which is a massive kick in the nuts for everyone that believes in live music in Melbourne, in live venues and everything else. And I just think it's really fucking crappy thing to happen in everybody's moment of joy, because it was a really cool thing to have happen. And then all of a sudden, oh shit, there's still further to go. But from indications is Shane Leanne of Last Chance Rock and Roll Bar seem pretty confident that they will secure the sale, and they're still going for it. So, you know, it's one thing, and, you know, they raised $3 million. The sale price was believed to be $6 million. Now it's 6.65.
Yeah.
They raised $3 million on their own. It's one thing to purchase the bar, then they have to run it and pay staff and maintain it. So that's a hell of a big commitment they're pulling off, but they won't do it. So that's fucking awesome. So I really, really hope that it goes through and that they get it. And it would make me really personally happy for them to secure the Tote, regardless of how we got kicked in the nuts.
Yeah. It was funny because watching a lot of people when the goal was getting closer and closer. Dave, you'll be able to verify this, that as it was getting there, and was like, oh shit, they're actually going to do it. We were chatting, and the crew were chatting behind the scenes, and then I made the comment of, well, the money's raised, just have to accept the offer. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, I was terrified that something like that would happen at the 11th hour. Just that that's why I said it, Dave. It was like, they have to accept the offer for it to actually go and be official. And that was my concern. And it got raised. But yeah, Jeff, anyway, over to you before I go on a bit of a tear.
No, look, it was a great thing and then a shitty thing, obviously. And it's like, you know, ripping the rug out from under everyone is sort of like crappy. But look, they did, as far as I'm concerned, raising that money that was damn near fucking impossible, and they did it. They did something amazing. So look, I have no doubt that they'll get the other 500, 600,000.
Not even
that.
Should be, no, like 150. Like
so whatever it was, they'll get it. There's no question. But to have, you know, somebody come along and sort of go, well, you know, I think I changed my mind. It's a little bit more. That's shitty. But you know, it's like. Yeah, what can you say? Dave pretty much said it. You said it. Everything is. I can't really add much to it other than, you know, fuck you, and hopefully everything keeps going and do it. It's great.
Yeah. My first, I mean, when you think about it, in the grand scheme of things, when you really dig down, because it was within, you know, an hour of the post going up. I could research it and dig it up. But as it stands today, before we went live, that was still the last post on the Tote's Facebook page as well. That thing, they got such a backlash. They turned off comments on Instagram. The Facebook comments have ripped them to pieces. I mean, I'm talking people that do like backline hire. Other venue owners have ripped into these guys as well. Like the two people that currently own the Tote are not well liked. This is a pair of people. There were three of them. One passed away, unfortunately. Not to rip on the dead, but the other two are still kicking, and they own it. And they have been busted not once but twice, not paying full employee entitlements, including superannuation. We're not talking about idealistically good people in terms of the historical record. Now, what was the point of the post? What is the game? What is the goal? Like, they have been spruiking this campaign leading up to it. They've been organizing and promoting, you know, fundraising gigs and things like this. What was the point when the target gets reached of then saying, after doing all this work promoting the campaign and the gigs and all that kind of stuff, to then say, oh, by the way, there still has to be X, Y, Z met? What's the point of that post? It just deflated the entire situation. It was an incredible high for everyone in the community and just fucking stabbed it in the guts. Like, it was a shit thing to do. That's the sort of stuff that should play out behind closed doors. There was no need for that post to be made to begin with. And like I said, when it comes from the same fuckers that didn't pay their staff and got busted for it, fuck those guys.
That's right.
Genuinely, I hope all credit where due to Shane and Leanne and everyone that supported that campaign. My goodness, what a fucking effort! What a fucking effort!
Cheers again. It was great.
I agree. Cheers again. Like there's something about the tote that is just loved. They had the rally years ago to save it, and now they've done this where the crowd has come together and raised $3 million plus 3.1, just under $3.1 million to get this thing across the line. And Shane and Leanne have also come out and said that just in case the sale doesn't come through, all the monies will then be refunded and nothing will be taken from anyone's accounts. Like money will come out of accounts because that's the way that those processes work. But if the sale doesn't go through, the money will then be refunded. I just think it was the shittiest way to dampen a great community moment. And if this doesn't go through, if for whatever reason all this work has gone in, all this talk, all this news coverage, all this stuff has gone on. Think about this too. Like it's not just us covering it. Like mainstream Channel 7, 9, 10, like other big media establishments within Australia, the ones that have the monopoly, have actually covered this in a positive framework. If you want to be the two guys that go down as not facilitating this at the very end at the 11th hour, good luck. Like your legacy is going to be worse than it already is. And the thing I'm afraid of is that if it doesn't go through, like everyone seems confident, that's fine. And I'm hoping so. I'm more confident than not because I just think that, like I said, the reasons to not make this work now are probably more dangerous than the reasons to make it work for the sake of $100,000. In a $6.6 million sale we're talking about here. Yeah. Now, the people that bought it for like 1 million, I think, or 2 million. So they've more than tripled their margin on this thing. Now, yes, COVID, all that sort of stuff too. But other owners of other venues have come out and said, "Well, you got more COVID support than anyone else, so shut the fuck up." So there are things here going on that people are saying on the record there too. But yeah, if what I'm concerned about in this is if it doesn't go ahead, if this falls over for whatever fucking reason, that the what it will do to the spirit of the community in this city after doing that and pulling this off,
soul crushing.
It's soul crushing, and I don't know how well, or I don't think you'll be able to galvanize a community to support something like that ever again. I just think it's that we're at that point where this is like the last gasp. If this doesn't go ahead, I don't know we'll be able to get that level of community support for a project like this ever again. I think it won't happen.
No. You're spot on.
I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah. Well, I hope you're wrong too. Let me just say right now, for the end of the show, this is my fucking bin. So those cunts go into the fucking bin. I'm just saying it. So when you get to the bin at the end of the night, it's just you and Dave. I've already done the fucking bin.
There we go. No, it's a good one. I will say all credit to Uncle Geezer for cutting their set short after like one or two songs. That if you want the rest of the set, it's going to cost you $600,000. So well done. That's a punk band actually being a punk band, which is fucking well done. And then they went and played the whole set at the Last Chance Rock and Roll Bar the next day because someone else in the community had already paid for the whole show and was free to the public. So that's what we're talking about here. That's the sort of community spirit we need more of, not less of. So to the two people that currently own the Tote, fucking sell up and get the fuck out of town. Basically, fuck off and don't let it all hit you on the way out. That's what I've got to say to you. So stick that up your carver, you fuckheads. Anyway, let's see if we got.
I'll take to that.
Yeah. So will I.
Off the clacker, you cunts,
Fucking drop kicks. What do we got here? Let's go back to the Christopherson stuff for a second here. Michael says Christopherson supported Johnny Cash at John Cash at Rod Laver in the 90s was an awesome gig. That would have been pretty fucking special.
Cool.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Here we go. Michael says, I heard a band cut their set short at the Tote the other night and said something along the lines of, that's all you get, then ripped into the Tote owners, then said to hear the full set comes there as the Last Chance Rock and Roll Bar. Yeah, I did just cover that at the very end. It was, Uncle Geezer, which is fucking phenomenal on them. Lee says, still waiting for my 1K to be deducted from my bank account this week. The overtime paid last week has come in handy. Wow, man. That's
nice.
Credit to you. That's
Good
huge.
job, man.
Well done, man. That's more than I can do. So well done. Well done. You're
Me too.
a great man, especially you've got a lot going on too. So no, well done.
Very well done.
Michael says the band that cut the set short was Uncle Geezer. So there we go. Vinny says, I pledged, and that post was deflating, but I'm happy to dip it in again as the alternative is losing another great venue, and that's the problem we've got with that one as well. And Michael says, I've just shared an article in the Lounge about the band that cut the set short. Nice. Thank you for doing that. Nicole says, I'm pretty sure it's illegal to raise the price after closing date for sale. It wasn't the closing date for sale. That's they've been very clever about how they've done this. It was the closing date for the crowdfunding campaign, not the closing date for the sale. So I agree, but they skirted that one. They got away with the legality, but the ethics are fucked. So there we go. And then Vinny says, reckon I'll read that. Thanks, mate. Awesome. And then Chris says, Uncle Gear's a bronze statue of these peeps. Yes, definitely.
Yes.
Statue of those guys. For that moment alone, I hope someone got that on video. I think someone did, actually. I want to see that. I want to see that video. I think someone got it on video, but I think it was shared to their story or something, which means someone's got something somewhere, which would be fucking brilliant. But yeah, feel free to give us your thoughts. I'm going to cut that, and we'll obviously use that for different content down the line. But yeah, it's a conversation that's not going to go away until this is actually done. So yeah, get the deal done and get the fuck out of town. To those two. Alrighty, we are actually starting to move through things now that we've gotten a bit of a roll on. So now it's time to finish off the Build-A-Band. Not finish off, sorry. We got this week and next week to go. But this week, it's the Build-A-Band out of the Big Four of Thrash. Everyone that's been watching will know the game here. We've had to choose X amount of members, and we had to have 3 out of the 4 bands represented. We're talking about Megadeth, Metallica, Anthrax, and Slayer were the bands we're choosing from. Anyone that was a member of those bands for any length of time was eligible. Didn't matter if they were living, dead, or if they were in there for a hot minute. Or their entire career. They were eligible if they were a member of the band for whatever period of time. We've done a whole lot of stuff here. We've gone through drums, bass, rhythm, lead. Last week we did vocals. And Dave last week picked John Bush. I got Joey Belladonna. And because we had the rule that was once someone has been taken, they can't be taken a second time, which meant a lot of the people like Hetfield and Mustang were already taken for the guitar work, Jeff pretty much was left with Tom Araya for vocals.
Yeah. Fucking my own little Rain and Blood parade. Yes.
Yes, which he wasn't thrilled about at the time. So we have taken on a bit of feedback from Jeff after last week. And so, Jeff, you'll get first pick this week. We are going to make it whoever goes last gets to go first the week after.
Thank you. That was nice. I didn't know that was happening.
Yes, so nice. that is happening. And we're going to do that because that'll make it a bit more even as we go through. But once we do these ones, we then go through and poll the audience and say, okay, give us your pick of the bunch. And actually, the polling was more interesting than I expected, to be fair. Now, Jeff, you actually got some points for this. Some people actually actively picked Tom Araya. So we gave you 30 points in addition to yours. So you're up to 140. So you did have some people on your side there as well.
Nice going, guys. Thanks.
Yeah. Where it got interesting was how Dave picked John Bush and I picked Joe Belladonna, and both of those were split on top. So we both get 50 points for that one. So we both picked equal top. So
nice.
Dave is still in front with 210 points in total. I'm in second on 190. That's how it works. And this week we are going to be choosing the producer for this one, which is next week we'll do artwork. We'll do the artist for the artwork, and then that's a wrap. But then this week we're going to be choosing the producer. So without any further ado, Jeff, it's over to you. Who are you choosing to produce your supergroup?
Well, look, there's choices. Now, early on, if you had asked me at the beginning of the show, I would have said Max Norman because I'm a big fan of Max Norman too. Of course, the Aussie reference and stuff for me. So I've always thought, he's fantastic. So that sort of shortens the list a bit. And I thought, well, okay, if I can't have him, who would I go for? And of all the producers that have done all those bands,
you can have him if you want, because Conrad hasn't been part of the official scoring, so you can have Max Norman if you want.
I could, but I thought, my second choice is probably going to be better in the long run anyway.
Cool.
So I think I'm going to go, and I might cop some flack from this, but I think I'm going to go with Bob Rock.
No, I would have gone there too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good pick.
Yep.
Yeah,
he's fucking good at what he does.
He's certainly good at what he does. Look, not just Metallica. I mean, he's done Rat. He's done Motley Crue. I mean, the list goes on. He's done Bryan Adams. Well, all right, don't hold that against him. But he's done a lot of other stuff.
But if we're talking about production chops,
as a producer, he's really good. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So Bob Rock's my pick. And sorry, guys, I didn't mean to. I know somebody would have grabbed him, but. Maybe going first, I've throwing a spanner in the ring. Come on, simply vote, guys. Everybody.
And going first, you get to get the pick. So that's what it's all
that's
about.
it. No, but that's cool. Like I guarantee you, on my short list, he was on there for sure, and probably was at the top of my short list to be blunt.
Yeah.
Because for me, he has created one of my all-time reference albums, and you can love or hate the Black Album, but the way that fucking sounds is phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Well, it sounds fucking.
You could argue that there was some Metallica before the Black Album, and then there was Metallica after the Black Album, and you whether you like it or hate it, it was groundbreaking.
He should never have been in the band, though. He shouldn't have been.
No, maybe not. But it is what it is. But yeah.
All right. I did randomly predetermine the order after this one as well. So Dave actually gets to go second choice. So who are you choosing to produce your supergroup, Dave?
Oh, this is tricky because I was going to go Bob Rock initially. I got Max Norman on my list as well.
I think I know who you're going to go with. Who you're going to go with.
You think his name starts with Fleming?
No, I always thought you might go with somebody who has produced one of your favorite artists. His last name starts with C.
No.
If I was to,
and this is tempting.
Clink.
It's so tempting to go with Fleming, but I'm going to go with Eddie Kramer because he produced Among the Living.
Okay.
And I think Among the Living sounds fucking amazing, and Eddie Kramer was an amazing producer. And it was weird that the guy who produced Hendrix produced a thrash metal album with Among the Living.
Yeah.
To call, I like his work, so I'm going to go with Eddie Kramer. I think his work on Among the Living is fucking great. That album's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Eddie Kramer's a legend. Yeah.
Damn, that's a good choice, man. And actually, Eddie wasn't on my list, so I've got a list of 6 that I would have gone with in the end.
I was surprised because I don't really pay attention to producers, but I went through albums that I loved the sound of. It was like, oh fuck, Eddie Kramer produced Among the Living. Okay, cool. Yeah. Don't know a lot about him from his classic rock stuff, but
I've got a little, a sort of like kind of a. I mean, this is kind of cheesy for me saying this, but I've got a connection to Eddie Kramer.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah. So I've got a cousin. Okay. A cousin of mine, his name's Clifton David Broadbridge. He's an amazing fucking guitar player.
Yep.
And Eddie Kramer is his producer.
Wow. There you go.
So you can look, if you want to look up somebody, an amazing musician, look up Clifton David Broadbridge. He's a Canadian guy. He it's just an amazing guy. Like as a guitar player, fucking makes me look like a fucking Oompa Loompa. I can't even come close.
Jeff, I want the orange paint and green hair. All right?
It's your turn to be a fool this week. Do the fucking Oompa Loompa dance.
Yeah, I should. Yeah.
Send me a video. I'll stick it on TikTok. See what happens.
Yeah. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh yeah. Oompa Loompa dance challenge.
Oh yeah. Oh wow.
Oh
Metal
no.
style. Yeah,
there we go. You've left me in a bit of a bind. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
Dude, I want I want to hear where you're gonna go.
Because I've got 2 that are like neck and neck on my list after Bob Rock. Like Bob Rock would probably be my first pick, but the next 2 I've got, I could go either way and be really happy, like insanely happy. So I'm not. So no, not my Clink.
Sorry. I can't even get a fucking thing to clink right. There's really nothing fucking working. Sounds like.
Though very, very good producer, not on my short list. Okay, people I'm not going to pick that were on my short list were going to be there's Jay Rustin, Fleming Rasmussen, and Greg Fidelman as well. There were some really good albums produced by those guys.
Dave Jordan.
But I also picked a couple of other ones here that I don't know which way to go because these 2 I could be easily happy. I've got Terry Date up there. His collection of work is very good, but I'm actually going to go and pick Andy Sneap.
Nice pick, man.
His body of work is absolutely phenomenal, and I'm getting recency bias as well because don't forget he produced Firepower from the Mighty Judas Priest. So this guy.
I think you were going to go with that. Yeah.
Sorry.
And what a player too.
I was thinking you would go with that. We all fucking love Firepower. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, so
I can't think of any of the producers that can fucking produce and play like he can. Like that fucking guy's amazing.
Yeah. So I'm surprised that it was still there at number 3 for me, to be honest. I'm like, that's how highly I rate him. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna go with him because I think that he's like this generation's Bob Rock in a lot of respects. Everything he does just sounds fantastic, and he's got an extensive collection of music too. It's not just this. So he's done a lot of the heavier bands. He's done Slipknot and that before as well. Up to Judas Priest. Like he's done heaps. So this guy, what I love about him is that he obviously knows how to challenge the bands in the right ways. Because every great band he touches, he just gets the best out of them every single time. So I'm going to go with Andy Sneap. So there we have it. So for producers, Jeff got Bob Rock, Dave got Eddie Kramer, and I've got Andy Sneap. So we'll do a video post on this one and get people's votes on this. It's going to be really interesting to see which way the audience goes versus us on that one as a wider thing. So we'll go.
We need more videos like a year and a half in the life of Metallica when we saw the behind the scenes making the Black Album, where Bob Rock's just in Kirk Hammett's face. You can do better with this fucking solo. You can do better. And we get the Unforgiven solo. I would love to see behind the scenes of Judas Priest making Firepower.
Yeah.
This day and age, why aren't people recording this shit?
And it doesn't matter how big or small the band is either. If you got a phone, you can do it.
Yeah. And those fucking videos from Metallica, they were huge. It was cool to see Metallica behind the scenes making an iconic classic album at the time that we didn't know was going to be as big 30 years later. Yep. Why are people not filming this shit and releasing it? Yeah.
Part 2. I've got part 1 around here somewhere, but there's part 2. Yeah. So I'm packing at the moment. So there.
I remember like renting those on VHS and making illegal copies. I'm going to get fucking fired. You're
going to get a notification in your email, Dave. Do you know how many times I've watched that?
It's going to incriminate me.
Yeah, think of me being obsessed with production. Me being obsessed with production, the amount of times I watched Year and a Half is sickening. If you knew me back then, that was all I would watch, especially part 1, focusing on the studio side. Oh my goodness, I fucking loved it to bits. That is such a phenomenal piece of.
They should do. People should do. And Metallica to this day still do like the rehearsal room.
Yeah,
like who they do. But why are no other bands really doing this shit?
I don't know.
Skid Row did it great with Say Can You Scream, that tour documentary. That was cool, but that was tour. I want to see studio stuff. Dream Theater do it occasionally.
I like studio stuff too. It's because it sort of gives you an insight, a look at how things are done, right? Whether because you hear it, then you're like, geez, I really like to see them talk about the songs and see how they're done. Yeah. I like that.
I love hearing early demos, just a drunken idea, and then you see how it progresses to the finished product and how the producer changed it, how the band changed it when they start to like just jam on an idea that one band member had.
No, I completely agree.
Shit, people.
I don't know why it's not done more often, to be honest. I really don't know. I think it's quite odd that it's not done more often than it is.
There was a DVD set, or I think it was a show originally. Was it Inside the Music or something? And you can buy those DVDs now, and and they've done some like amazing Number the Beast, and they've done Metallica and Black Sabbath.
A lot of that is in hindsight, though. You got the producer going over it, and it's cool that they break down the tapes. Yeah, and you can hear drums and the bass all put together. But just in the studio at the moment.
I agree.
Yeah, that's a fucking great thing. So,
yeah, no, I completely. Yeah, it's a weird thing that I would love to see done much, much, much more often.
Well, it's surprising that it isn't. It's bizarre because it's like, do they think people wouldn't be interested in that shit? I mean, really?
Yeah, I know.
We're all clamoring for it. So why?
And the thing is that people are so content hungry, it writes itself. Like all you do is just film the whole lot and then clip it into bits and pieces, and off you go. So it's like you're already in there. You may as well document it. It's
hearing a shit take or hearing an idea not quite there, that's not going to take away from the final product.
No.
Exactly. I think it actually adds to it because you can see the evolution.
If you can watch a fucking cooking show and see how watch Conrad make a pizza, you could watch this shit and enjoy it.
If you can watch us and see Dave falling off of chairs, you can definitely watch that sort of stuff, which is much more intelligent than anything we're going to do.
We need more of it.
Yeah, agree. Agree. All right, cool. We have Chris jumping into the room. Going to go through some comments here quickly, though. What do we got here? So, Chris, Uncle Geezer, Bronze. Yeah, there we go. So, Nicole says, okay, I had my hubby yakking about football the other, in my other ear. Either way, what a cunt act. These funds, they knew funds were being raised. Bastards. Yes, we all would have done that. Chris has gone, which we'll get him back in here. Sure, we'll get him in here. See him in the waiting room, so we'll wave to you in a second. But Bob rocked by a bee stick over Danny Huff. Bob has more great heavy albums to his name, but Danny did Cryptic Writings, which is hands down Megadeth's best recorded album. So there we go.
Thank you. A lot of people shit on that album. I think it's
Cryptic Writings is good. I like it too. Yeah.
Guy says Bob Rock did the Cult too. Love Cult. Yes, that was there as well. But Chris has gone, Load is my reference album. Black was stunning, but Load was like the Black album with actual fuel. Nice point. Nice point. Andy Wallace for Andy Reid. That's his choice then. But Darren's going with Fleming Rasmussen as well. So we're getting some interesting choices here. Vinny says, careful what you wish for, Dave. Behind the scenes of Judas Priest could capture a lot more than we wanted.
Oh, no.
Well,
I've read Helford's book, man. I got all types of fucked up shit.
Oh, wow.
Well, hey.
Well, this is no. What we need is the behind the scenes of the Rocky Horror Picture Show just for Dave's enjoyment.
Oh yeah.
Me and Jeff have been talking about doing like rock bio reviews. We've gone over a couple of books that we both had. Yeah, man, you got to read Halford's book. There's some really it's a really good read, but there's some really fucked up stories like. Like back in the day when Halford used to hook up with people in public torts and they do reach arounds in the different stalls. So he'd do him, the other guy would do him, and then usually apparently there's an etiquette of one person leaves, washes their hands, and walks out. So this guy didn't give Halford a few minutes, and he walked out, and he's wearing a Judas Priest t-shirt. And he's like, this guy's just fucking, oh my God. And Halford just winks at this guy and says, see you on the next tour. And walks out.
Yeah. There we go.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
Good on him for having the courage to write it, because that sort of
exactly.
It's a no holds barred book. Because you've probably heard the story of how Halford's boyfriend blew his fucking brains out.
What two consenting adults get up to behind closed doors? Who the fuck cares? Let them do what they want. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Halford's a fucking legend, and his book was an amazing read. Yeah, so dude, read that book.
I haven't read it. Okay, we'll do it. I haven't read it, but I will.
Yeah, get it. It's a great book.
I'll order it right now.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
I'm on with the technology. All right.
Chris says a year and a half, part one, watched over 200 times since it came out. Yeah, it's an easy one to repeat spin. Vinny says, I raised this once in a prior stream. Bands can pick up a more devoted fan base by revealing the creative stages of putting an album together. I completely agree with that. Taking your fans along for the journey is important.
Do it.
Michael says, producers, very interesting when you talk Metallica from their formation and a different approach to the Black Album when Bob did what he did. Chalk and cheese, definitely. Vinny says, we could watch Thor sneak into his mother's bedroom to swipe the charger. That's behind the scenes of THRS. Here we go. Here's an image for you, Dave. From Darren, imagine Halford as Frankenfurter. So just to...
Oh, yeah.
I'm just a sweet painkiller.
You missed the reference, though. Yeah.
That's nice. Well done. That is cool. All righty. Let's do something a bit different. Let's bring Chris into the stream. Hope you're ready for this. We touched base like it for a couple. Here we go. Got the horns.
Right.
Here we go.
Maybe we'll get you,
Hey,
fellas.
How you going, mate?
How you doing?
Oh, good. How are you guys going? Mommy, I know how you're going because I've been listening to you all night, but...
Well, there you go.
Can I just get you to try and turn yourself down a little bit there? I don't know. There's a bit of a feedback sort of loop coming through on this. I don't know if anyone else can hear it, or is it just me?
I can hear it,
yeah. Ooh,
and is that a Bark at the Moon picture disc behind you?
Signed by Ozzy.
You
Oh, man.
Get out of here.
Oh, man. Did he try biting your head off?
No, but I asked him to.
Wow.
Hold on. That should work. Hang on. Don't worry too much. That should be better.
That sounds great.
There we go. I fixed you up. Don't worry about it. I did something here in the settings behind the scenes, so you're all good. That makes it easier for you. How you going?
Pretty good.
Not bad for a drunken idea last week, and you figured, here we go. So you're here.
Oh, who would have thunk it?
Who would have thunk it? I love that.
Yeah. So you've been watching and interacting with us for a while. Hopefully you're enjoying the silliness of the live streams. And I know that Dave hasn't fallen out of his chair yet, but
no,
yeah,
can't tonight.
But, let's just quickly, we'll get to Savatage in a second because there's a few little pointed things I want to quickly touch base with you on. But just generally speaking, a bit of a background, because you play and sing and do a bunch of things. You've got an active band at the moment as well, if I'm correct. And so what is your musical world look like at the moment?
I mean, I live in the Bega Valley, far south coast of New South Wales. So, you know, I play bass and sing in a cover band at the moment. It's pretty much the only gigs you can get down in rural New South Wales is playing all pub rock, but which you know I grew up on, so I know it all backwards. So and it's like, I mean, I've been sort of playing music for years and just loving, you know, live down here on 100 acres and raise animals and do all that type of stuff. So it's a bit of a strange. I've got 3 pigs about to be dispatched in a couple of weeks' time that are going to go in the freezer. So, you know, it's like the strangest combination of, like, you know, I'm a farmer who plays, you know, hard rock and bogan rock and a hard rock band. That's cool. Crazy. That's
awesome. So just to
do your pigs get exported down to Victoria when they're meat?
Got a mobile butcher that comes out and just, like, you know, bang, and pops him in his cool room for 2 weeks, and then he cuts them up as we tell him to. So, you know, it's all you know, they have a great life. They just have one bad day.
And then it's done. But who doesn't fucking love bacon? I mean, everybody loves fucking bacon. Even fucking vegans love bacon. So
vegans have, like, you know, vegans have their whole vegan bacon. It's so good.
Exactly right.
That's what I mean. Actual bacon. That's how good it is.
That's right. Bacon is amazing.
Everyone's pushing for, like, free range, but I think if you've got a nice life, the last thing you want is a bullet in your head. Now, if you're living in a cage, you're just like, fucking
want
kill
that
me.
bullet in your head. Yeah.
There's something to be said about that.
That's weird logic.
These animals are going to have a miserable death. Whereas if you're living in a cage, you're welcome.
Considering this whole concept album thing is full of bleak albums, if you ever write a concept album, I'm curious as to where the fuck you're going to go. Like,
now, my concept album is going to be focusing on the life of a caged chicken.
Well, Watership Down had some fun.
We need to write this album, Dave. Seriously,
it's gonna happen.
As a hunter, I have the background knowledge, you know, so I know.
Here we go.
So, you know, I can give you all the insight.
I'll go for the emotional context of a chicken being caged in, like, an egg-laying machine, and, you know, abusive parents. That's what you need, like the Crimson Idol and shit.
Abusive chickens.
The Crimson Hatchery. I mean, what the fuck? Yeah.
I have a feeling most of those chickens didn't know their parents. Just saying.
I have a funny feeling Dave's just looking for a reference to Choke the Chicken to put in there somewhere. That's what I'm looking for.
I'm just thinking we got a cover Battery from Metallica.
Oh, here we go.
Let's do a parody. Let's do a Weird Al parody.
Oh, that could be fun. That could be
Factory.
Battery.
Factory.
We need a solo inspired
family. Yeah. There's references to family and Battery, so you can. There's ways to make that work.
Oh yeah.
Factory is found in me. I'm not sure that works quite so well, but you never know. We are talking about chickens, so
you could have, like, a whole thing, like a chicken, and say, like, fade to black. You know, the whole.
This is a concept album. We're into a concept album here.
Yeah.
Let's maybe make the fictitious version as opposed to the real version behind the scenes, because the idea of executing chickens.
No, it's all got to be fictitious.
Go for Alice Cooper guillotine style. That's what we need.
Master of Nuggets.
Oh, that is great.
Yeah.
Master of Nuggets. Oh,
All right,
this
I'll
is-
see you next. Yeah, I'll see you next week.
Yeah, I think you popped that one. Like, good luck beating that one. Fuck me, that's going to be one of the calls of the year right there. Oh wow. On to a bit more serious note though, just to because the band Savatage, and in particular Streets Rock Opera, has a particular significance to you. The parts of this that you used in your wedding vows that
Yes.
you've referenced there as well. So fill us in. What is your Savatage? Is, I think, if I'm correct, your all-time favorite band? Is that right?
It's up there. Like, I mean,
Up
I
there,
grew
yeah.
up with AC/DC. My uncle got me into AC/DC. He made me a mixtape when I was like in my early teens, and moved into Metallica, and they're probably up there. But Guns N' Roses, all those bands. But Savatage were one of those bands that I kind of got into. No one knew them in Australia. And back in the mid '90s, I was kind of like doing all that whole bootleg trading. You literally find people all over the world. And there was a guy up in Brisbane that I was trading bootlegs with, and he goes, "Have you heard of these bands?" And I went, "No." And he goes, "I'll make you a mixtape." In the days of the actual mixtape, the TDK mixtape.
Yeah.
And one side was Dream Theater, and the other side was Savatage, of his favorite songs of those two bands.
Wow.
And honestly, Dream Theater didn't do it for me. It was
Well,
Dave, you don't know what songs they were. They were his favorite songs.
The time,
He might have been.
I mean, I've gone from AC/DC, as bad as progressive as I got was Metallica, and I listened to Savatage, and for me it was kind of like my introduction to that style of more in-depth time signature changes and all that type of stuff, and it absolutely blew my mind. Wow. It had, because this is about 96, so like Streets had been out for like 5 years.
Yeah.
And there was also, there were other tracks, and the Handful of Rain album, Dead Winter Dead, had come out already. So there was the odd spattering of songs in there. And I remember hearing the song Chance, which has got that whole multi-vocal thing going on. And but then I was like, the last song on the tape was Believe, which is the song I actually has become this holy grail for me. And it's like, it's one of those songs where it doesn't matter what you're feeling, for me anyway. It doesn't matter what you're feeling. It covers every base. If you're feeling down, you're feeling up, you're feeling positive. It's a song that you listen to, you read the lyrics, and it's quite a dark song. It's kind of like that whole regretful redemption type thing. But for me to use a snippet of that in my wedding vows was completely right. And it's kind of like a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on things like "Bed of Roses" by Bon Jovi, and it's a pretty dark, horrible song, but it can be beautiful in the right moments. And that for me, that was my introduction to Savatage, and I literally went down into Sydney, because I used to live out the southwest of Sydney. Went into Utopia Records, spoke to Paul there, the fellow that started Utopia Records, and he was a big Savatage fan. I bought Streets, I bought Hall of the Mountain King, and then it was just one of those journeys that made everything click for me, and they were just an amazing band. I don't love everything they've done. I'm not one of those sort of fanboys. But there's so much of their catalog that just resonates with me. It's crazy.
Not making Fight for the Rock here.
Fight for the
Rock. No.
Which is interesting, because I was knowing that they were going to break up after that album. John, the lead singer, was going to go off and audition for Black Sabbath, and Chris was going to go and audition for Megadeth in '86. And like in the whole sliding doors thing, if that hadn't happened, we wouldn't have had Hall of the Mountain King, Gutter Ballet, and Streets, and all these other albums.
Absolutely.
But then again, what could John have done in Sabbath? It could have been amazing.
Yeah.
Well, what could Chris have done in Megadeth? Like, fuck. He's just an amazing. Well, was an amazing musician all around. One of my favorites. He's one of my favorites. He's up there for me. He's up there with Rhodes. That's how much I've loved them. But speaking of Rhodes, I don't mean to comment. That looks like a '74 reissue custom Les Paul. Is it?
Sort of. It's a Bernie Japanese. Make on the Randy Rhodes. That's why I bought it.
So Rhodes was a '74.
So this is a '91 issue that was a Japanese made Bernie replica. It's a beautiful
out here. Sorry, guys. I had to say something because I was looking at that and I was drooling
Go
over
for
that. Yeah. I was drooling. I was like, yeah. What's that?
Am I getting poison?
Yeah, that's
Poison.
open up and say, oh, yeah.
Oh, and
Nice.
also
Power of the Night.
Power of the Night, signed by John
Wow.
O'Leary. It's hard to see, but you can kind of get the signature
Oh,
there.
Yeah,
wow.
you can see it there.
Yeah,
That's
So-
cool, man.
Very cool.
Here's the tough question for you. It's like, choose between your kids. What would be the pride and joy of your collection between your gear and your records and your signed stuff? What would be the prized one?
To be perfectly honest, see this little, where's the that one right there?
That one.
That little single right there.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. What is that? Virgin.
This is the Can I Sit Next to You Girl,
Oh, wow.
Rockin' in the Parlor, Dave Evans
Wow.
single. It's actually, you can see, I don't know if you can see there's an A.
I'll bring you up into solo layout, so it might
Yeah.
be a bit easier. Yep.
See the you can see the A in the in the background of the black. That means that basically it shows that it was a promo version of it.
Wow.
This thing's worth, the last one that sold online was about $1,600.
Wow.
I picked that up for $1.20 at a record shop in Campbelltown because they had no clue what it was.
They had what they had. Yeah.
They had no
That is
idea.
amazing.
This would have been in the mid '90s, and I didn't even know what it was at the time. It was $1.20, and it's with that to me is just like the holy grail of all the things that I've got. I got the Aussie thing signed. I've got I saw Metallica twice in '98 where I got to go backstage and get the meet and greet pass and that type of stuff.
Wow.
But
Nice.
for some reason, this is just really special to me because it's kind of like the way I come across that record and Dave Evans is a complete and utter narcissistic tool, but
Yeah, well, we've had a run into that once.
It's the history of this band that was
exactly
so iconic in my life. So
no, that's impressive. No, thanks for sharing, because there's always that thing like we've had Jeff on, like Jeff's first appearance on the show many years ago was showing his collection of Rush stuff. So getting people to talk about what they love the most in their collection is always a really cool thing to have out there. So no, really appreciate you taking a moment to share that with us. That's really, really cool. Let's get into the nitty gritty. Let's talk about Streets or rock opera with you then. What is it about this? Because I'm assuming if we were going to give you a choice between Sgt. Pepper's or rock opera, you're going to go with the rock opera. Is there a debate there for you?
Like, I think I mentioned it online. For me, I completely understand the impact that Pepper's had, and for me as well. Like, that album is my mum's era. So she was big into music, and I grew up with the 50s and 60s kind of rock and roll stuff. So, the Beatles was a massive part of my growing up, and all those songs on those albums I listen to and absolutely love. So I've got such a fondness. Honestly, I didn't know that even it was considered a concept album till we kind of started talking about it you guys started talking about through the stream. But it's like, I get why it's a concept. It's like them pulling away from the mainstream and just creating this fictitious kind of persona type thing. So it's not really a concept as such. And even John Lennon's come out and said, all the songs he wrote for the album had no intention of it being any kind of thing. But it just kind of worked because of the visual and everything. Yeah. But the impact that Streets from my own growing up had is just, John's vocals. It's just like, there's something about the way that he can do these high-pitched screams to these guttural growls to these beautiful, crisp, clean vocals. It's just it stands the hair on my arms up, and I just have to I have to go with that, even though I know that, again, I think Conrad said it before, it's not going to be the album that's going to be referenced in another 30 years' time, yet people will still talk about Peppers in 30 years' time, and that's totally warranted. But for me, I would choose to listen to Streets 10 times, 20, 30 times over once for Peppers.
Nice. No, good point.
Yeah,
good point. All right, well, let's do the rounds then. Let's do this in real time and see Chris's reaction to our choices as we go through things. And Jeff, let's throw it to you. Which way are you going to go on this one? Got your notes.
I got my notes. All right, so I'm going to start with Streets. Okay, now let me just preface this by saying I love Savatage. I've been a Savatage fan for many, many years, probably back into the mid '80s. So I've kind of grown up with them as a teenager, and so I still love them. However, you're not going to like me, I'm afraid. So when it comes to concept albums, I'm reading now, without a doubt, the most important thing is the lyrics and the story in its telling. Epic music accompanying mediocre lyrics, song storytelling would fall flat. Now, that is not to say what is happening here. The lyrics and the story, however, are the weakest portion of the Streets for me. I found that the music is just absolutely superb. And John Oliva's vocals, his vocals he's singing here is in fine form. In fact, it may be some of the best singing that he's done on any of the albums. And he doesn't hold back. And so we're treated to some of just absolutely amazing lyrics and singing. Now, Chris Oliva's guitar playing is phenomenal, as always. And there's a reason why he is one of the most underrated guitar players of all time. And one of my personal favorites. And you only have to listen to him to know that he's done something special here. And he was taken far too soon. Unfortunately, that is where my installment ends. Okay. I found the entire album listening experience in this, I guess probably, I don't know how many years it has been since I've listened to this album. And I said, I love Savatage, but this is not one of my go-to albums. And I actually found it tedious. Sorry, this is the 21-year-old Jeff listening to this as I'm talking. But not from a musical standpoint. For me, it was purely lyrically based. And I found it almost... some of the lyrics, now you guys are really going to fucking hate on me. I found them juvenile, to say the least.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't find the story interesting at all. And there was nothing really that I was listening here outside of the music that would make me want to return to listen to it again.
Oh man, I'm going to rip your.
I know you are. I know you are, and I got no problem with that. So I know you guys. So look, I remember listening to this when I was in my early 20s from a friend's LP. Right now, having been a fan of the band previous to that, I had Sirens, and I had listened to a lot of stuff. I had listened to Hall of the Mountain King and Gutter Ballet. So I was really looking forward to listening to Streets. And then I remember listening to it, and I don't really remember much. I don't remember after listening to it that time at my buddy's place. I don't think I ever listened to it again. So it didn't strike me as a chord. But it's not a bad album by any measure. That's not what I'm saying here. It just didn't click with me. It didn't resonate. Now, obviously, it clicked with you and it resonated, and that's fine. We can't all love cheeseburgers. Some of us do, some don't. We all love bacon, though. We all agree on that.
Bacon.
But yes. But
bacon, the great unifier.
That's right. Look, for me, when it comes to Savatage, I'll stick to the more familiar stuff that I actually love, like Hall of the Mountain King, Gutter Ballet. When the Crowds Are Gone is one of my all-time favorite songs of anybody. That song is just fucking phenomenal. The guitar solo in Gutter Ballet is one of my favorite guitar solos of anybody. That guitar solo gives me shivers and goosebumps, but this is a different album, of course. So that's the albums I'm going to stick with. I'm sorry if I pissed off a lot of people out there. It just didn't resonate with me, and I'm listening to it all these years later. I realize it still doesn't resonate with me. So, and that's just the way it is, sometimes, Now, as for the Beatles, I wrote out like pages of stuff. And then I scrapped that because I realized Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Now, when you look up the word epic in a dictionary, it's got a picture of this album beside it. Okay, and so that's the reference point. Now, what could I say that hasn't been said a gazillion times? Absolutely fucking nothing. So it's just an amazing album. It's epic. Standout tracks, all of them. This album is perfection. Now, if I had to pick one song, if I had to just pick one song off that, it would have to be A Day in the Life. That to me is just fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And I don't have even the words to describe the epicness of that fucking song. But this album, yeah, it's a perfect album to me. I mean, it may not be the greatest album of all time. I'm not saying that. But it's as close to perfection as you're going to get. So I don't know how even going forward, how am I going to not be able to not vote for that album going forward? Because all the other albums,
you've set the bar.
I have set the bar. But there's some other albums in there. I think everyone knows my Desert Island album is not this. So, yeah. So I'm just going to leave it with that. I think this album, obviously, the Beatles wins for me. And it set the stage for just about every band to come after it. If it was the first concept album, it's a loose concept album, conceptual, whatever you want to call it. I think I read something that they were trying to write an album that it was like wasn't them writing the music. It was like they were stepping outside themselves. And so that's pretty cool in itself. But yeah, I'm sorry, Savatage fans. I love them, just not today. So
all right. Well, just for everyone's references, I did put them earlier on in the stream, and there's also in the description box, but I did just link in again reference tracks for everyone to check out. So I put Savatage, Jesus Sayers, and Beatles A Day in the Life, which is kind of fitting with Jeff talking about that. I just put them in the comments before. But Dave, are you going to make it? We've got Conrad and Jeff going with the Beatles. You're going to make it 3, considering I know how much Julie's going to kill you if you don't.
Well, we'll see. You know, we're the second week into the concept albums, and have you noticed how personal it's become already? These albums resonate a lot more than an average album with people because they're life stories. You know, it would be interesting to see Sgt. Pepper up against Tommy. It would be fucking fantastic to hear Streets up against the Crimson Idol because those stories are very, very similar.
They would be good. You know, they would be good battles. You're dead
hearing Chris's stories, you know, having lyrics written into your wedding vows. I had Trivium lyrics written into mine. It was fucking great, and I had to have that as part of me. I have to say, as fate would work out, I had to listen to an album this week that has a song called She's Leaving Home the week my daughter is away on grade 6 camp, and I haven't seen it. So I got emotional. Jesus Christ. But as mentioned, my wife is a massive Beatles fan. This is an original Sgt. Pepper.
Wow.
Yeah. No, this is a record. This isn't the fucking hipster vinyl shit that's released. This is a record.
Is that actually original from way back from 67?
Yeah. Because one of her friend's mums gave her that.
Do not put your address on stream. You'll get fucking broken into.
I'm on strict orders to not fall over and break
Holy fuck. Yeah.
I'm not telling anyone where you live, Dave. That's it.
Wow. My wife has an awesome record collection. It's part of the reason I married her.
Nice going.
That could be taken in a number of ways.
I wanted to marry her before I knew what a record collection was. She's fucking.
That was just a
bonus. Yeah. Right. Now, down to the review and the comparison. But 1967, 1991, world changed drastically. You know, different eras, different genres, different approaches to making music.
Yeah.
One is a concept album, one's a rock opera. The difference being that rock operas actually have a complete narrative with a start, middle, dramatic build, and an end. A concept album doesn't necessarily have to have a resolution. Just a bunch of stuff that happens within that concept. There's kind of a difference. And it's weird that they're all just being classed as a concept album. But we wouldn't be talking about either without the Beatles and without Sgt. Pepper. Because as much as Pete Townsend would love to say that he invented the rock opera, the Beatles invented the concept album, which kind of started the whole ball rolling. And I think the fucking...
well, this album changed the trajectory for the Beatles, which in turn changed the trajectory of music history.
Sgt. Pepper marked the beginning of breaking out of the 3-minute confines of the pop song. Boring bullshit. And Pete Townsend would expand on that a couple of years later. Now, not just confines in songwriting, but the studio and the producer became part of the band, experimenting with what could be done. And the Beatles' idea of using this other band, the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, it allowed them to break out of the expectation of the fucking, you know, the fringes, the suits, and the bullshit that they were confined into. They got to be other people.
It's like Stephen King writing as Richard Bachman. It sheds
exactly. They got to be other people. So they got to experiment. And that opened up doors to bring like literature into music.
Right, absolutely.
Well, it was innovative. But at times, this album, the Sgt. Pepper, can seem very pretentious. You know, you take enough acid, and any bizarre bullshit can be considered art. You can spend fucking weeks trying to find a deeper meaning or any meaning into some of these songs. Or you can simply turn your fucking mind off and just enjoy them for what they are. And that's part of what makes the Beatles brilliant. You can enjoy them as pop songs, or you can try and ascribe a deeper meaning, and that's personal for anybody who listens to it for the past 55 fucking years. They work on many different levels. You want deep and artistic, symbolic, social commentary with abstract undertones? Okay. You want a catchy pop song? Cool. Now, Savatage with Streets. I have not heard this album until a couple of days ago. This is dramatic, emotive portrayal of success and loss, rise and fall, and I fucking love the Crimson Idol, and as soon as I started getting into the story, I'm just like, holy shit. Given a few more weeks and a few more months, I could really get into this album, and it would be elevated to that, because I can really, I've never been through shit like what's portrayed in this, but I could really, I could emotively empathize with the stories. Yeah, you can, and that's what great drama does. I'm a massive movie nerd. I like stories. I like reading. This is really well done. This is the rock opera compared to a concept album. So this is where it gets really fucking hard. What do you want?
Especially you being such a fan of bands like Avantasia as well. Which
I like the whole over-the-top stuff. I like things from... There's so many great albums in this whole concept album battle. And the performances on the Savatage album are fucking amazing. They're not stuck into any confines of what rock or metal or subgenres within that have to be. There's elements of both of those genres, and there's also piano. So it dates back to early, like, Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust, which didn't make the list, unfortunately. But
no, that's true.
Whenever the emotive need for the story, they use that musically to convey that, which is amazing. Considering 1991, we got the Black Album, you got Use Your Illusion, you got Slaves of the Grind's a year away. It's very heavy, it's very metal, and they do that, but they also have a tender moment, and not just like don't cry or nothing.
At the end is one hell of a way to close the album. I mean, my God.
So, and I don't know why this was never on my radar for the last 30 years, because I fucking love this album. This is great. And from what I can understand, this is a massive undertaking for the band at the time, and it paid off. They pulled it off remarkably well. It was going to be a double album originally.
Yeah, I would have loved to have heard that, actually.
But I've been researching, but there's been like the master tapes are lost, so it's never going to happen. And they've been re-recorded for future projects. But it would have been fascinating to see like the director's cut, so to speak. But I'm going to. This album deserves a lot more attention than mine. The characters are interesting. The story is fantastic. The riffs are great. The solos are amazing. It's gritty, and within that grit, there's moments of beauty. There's fast rockers. There's ballads. It's really a tough choice, because depending on my mood, I could listen to either of these albums and be perfectly happy listening to a concept album or a rock opera. And it's really hard, but I'm gonna go. It's a shit reason, but I'm going with the Beatles just simply for cultural significance. It's just something that everything else was based on. But I am so glad Savatage made the list, because I would never have heard this album before. I think a lot more people need to be aware of this band and aware of this album, because they pulled it off remarkably well. So, I got to go with the Beatles. I think Sgt. Pepper has just songs that you can just like the first couple of seconds, like that's that song. It's just it's instantly identifiable.
That's right.
Wow. There we go. Well, it's a fait accompli now. It's a matter of if it's a clean sweep or not, basically, at this point in time. But for me, Sgt. Pepper's is just one hell of an album. It's so important to musical history. Just, like Tommy last week, both of those albums, where Sgt. Pepper's began, Tommy sort of picked up the journey and carried it on. So those two sort of you don't have, you have Sgt. Pepper's, but you don't have Tommy without Sgt. Pepper's. You don't have a lot of these albums without both those albums beforehand. So this one, you know, when I rated Tommy as being culturally important, this one takes on even more so, because this is really the beginning of it all, even though it's not strictly the most driven or concept-based album. Its cultural impact, like as everyone said, we're talking about it how many years later on? Like, it was released in the late 60s. It's still, you know, iconic today. I don't know where concept albums or that sort of idea would be if not for the Beatles taking that chance at the time. They wanted to get off the road. They wanted to stop doing the singles and all that kind of crap. So this changed everything. Like, this is a real pivotal moment in music history. And it's also an album that, just purely for production value, especially for the era, it's a must listen. If you've never listened to Sgt. Pepper's from cover to cover, you really should. Like, it's one of those, I think it's a required listening, educational listen.
Like 100 albums to listen to before you die.
Yeah, it's
that good.
It's so important. It's certainly vintage. It's time stamped in the best way, though. Like, it takes you back to a different, more simpler time, so to speak. There are some wild twists and turns on that album. There's happy music that hides some really sinister and dark stuff, which there's actually a bit of a penchant for the Beatles to do that here and there throughout their career. They do some twisted stuff under some very catchy tunes, which is like, okay, what the fuck is going on? You know, there's, you know, a guy talking about how he basically beat his woman and kept her away from all of her friends and stuff, while, you know, it's I'm getting better all the time, which ended up being a fucking commercial. Like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? It's a wild contrast. It's bizarre. The use of Indian music in it is interesting as well. You know, the tones that it's just a little thing that's just smattered all throughout it, but it's well done. And it's an eclectic listen, but for all of that, it fits surprisingly well. Big hooks in it. You know, these songs certainly stay with you. I mentioned before that they've been used in TV commercials, but you also had What Would You Do If I Sang Out of Tune being a theme for the Wonder Years for how long as well. Like, this is all so much cultural impact as you go through. It still keeps resonating even today. The band, when you listen to it, the band are tripping their time away in their own little fucking quite pleasant world, and you know, it makes for a really engaging, disarming, and charming listen. You know, for me, like, they're literally just tripping the day away. There's nice stories in each song, really complete, impressively detailed little stories too. Again, critically important. You can't overlook or underappreciate this album. It's an all-time great. Now, that said, Sgt. Pepper's is a collection of short stories. Streets is a complete novel, which is where the concept album comes into play for me. It's dark, it's gritty, it lives up to that title. It's funny how Conrad mentioned how it had that New York grit and feel to it. You feel that. The second you put this thing on, you got the opening track, These Streets, and then you get the spoken dialogue, which, forgive me, but reminds me of Bobcat Goldthwait a little bit. But
they should have got Bobcat to do that bit.
They should have.
He was popular at that time. Yeah,
I know, it would have been perfect. But that joke being thrown in there, the actual delivery was brilliant. That spoken bit set up the tone for that whole record so well, and it set the concept. Like, that little monologue set the whole thing up from beginning to end, and it did it. And that's like the smallest part of this album, and it did it so well. They set this up between the Streets track to open it, and then that little spoken bit was just fucking great. After that was
John Oliver. That was John Oliver doing it, who grew up in Florida. So to put that New York accent on was pretty damn good. It was a convincing accent.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is that you hear it, you feel it. And that's the thing, is it doesn't feel like a Floridian doing it. It feels like the gritty New York. It has everything. Like I think it's also a case of, you know, talking about watching the characters and becoming the character and all that kind of stuff too. Like, there's these little subtle things that are so well done. After that part, though, you get all this attacking music, great bite throughout the album. There's great storytelling. I'm going to disagree with you, Jeff. I think the storytelling is fucking fantastic. There's great emotive weight delivered in this one too. Like, from the highs and the lows, it's one of those ones where you get the conviction of the performance, and I think it's conveyed wonderfully well. Great solos. My goodness, it's worth listening to the solos alone. Like, fuck me dead. It's crazy, the guitar work in that album. It's got great delivery across the board, but there's actually really nice character development. there's actually people you root for, which you don't often get that. Like this is like Dave made the comparison to the Crimson Idol, and I do completely agree with that reference because it's a different version of Johnny. It's the whole thing where it's just sort of like, okay, cool. Like, and that Crimson Idol is one of my all-time favorite albums. This one, it makes it instantly relatable because you've got someone else who's going through the hard times and then gets the highs, and it's just this wild roller coaster. But the character development, even though it's in a concept and the songs are short and all sorts of stuff, but you get, I forget the name, but the guy that knifes the other guy, like those characters are actually fleshed out. Yeah, Sammy and Tex, like that is actually that pivotal moment of the story, and you're waiting for revenge the whole time through afterward. All this kind of like there's emotive weight, storytelling, and character development all done in this album. I think the lyric work is fantastic. Little references like a frightened slab of bacon is just one example. Like that's such a clever little lyric. Especially in the context of this conversation,
bacon for the win.
Bacon, but that like a frightened slab of bacon is like, wow, what a cool little lyric. And there's other ones afterward too, not just that one. There's lots of little moments. That you're like, there's a lot because you have to truncate things because you're writing a song, not a novel. You have to find ways to make your point in a shorter manner, and they've done that really fucking well. It's something special about this one. It's a solid mix. It's a little bit time stamped from the 90s, but it's still punchy today, holds up well. And the theater aspect of that, like the whole thing that about it being a rock opera is actually played out while listening to it. It makes sense. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end, like Dave said. You can't say the same thing about the Beatles, Sgt. Pepper's. You can't. No. There isn't a cohesive story. And so this, to me, is a very similar battle to last week with, Imaginarium versus Tommy. It's an incredibly important album versus a real story in an album. It's legacy versus execution. And so while I love both these albums to bits, which actually makes this a hard choice. It's not like I was listening to them back and forth, and then I sat down with the headphones last time, put them on back to back, and just sort of dove into them both. And it's actually really hard because the Beatles songs are just iconic. And yes, everyone knows them and everyone loves them. They have their important place. But the Streets album is full of just great storytelling. And I loved it from beginning to end. It didn't drag for me at all. So in this context, like last week, I'm going to choose execution over legacy. I am going to go with Streets on this one. So it's not just a clean sweep. So there's one for you, Chris. It's not just a clean sweep, but I am going to go with Streets. I know it's a fait accompli, it's done and all that sort of stuff, but I'm glad that I took the time to really dive into this album properly because, I think it's one of those ones where if you'd have put this up against the Crimson Idol, fuck, that'd be a hard battle. Like Dave's idea of that versus Crimson Idol and Tommy versus Peppers, those are like, whoa, fuck, what do we do? But for me,
any of these 10 albums are fucking fantastic.
Oh yeah, there's no bad albums, and it's one of those things where I hope that people watching this who haven't listened to this album give it a chance and give it some time because
it's worth. They're both great, so they listen to them both. Exactly.
Again, none of these are terrible. None of these are terrible albums. These are the top 10 voted by the audience. They're popular for good reason. They are very good albums. It's just a case of yes, okay, fine. This time around, Savatage unfortunately get knocked out.
Could make a great movie. Actually, it could be adapted.
Oh, you could make a movie, but absolutely.
Didn't they? I thought they did do something.
There was something. But look, even though it didn't resonate with me, it's still a great album. It just didn't resonate with me, and that's all right. Like, that's just. I've read books that I just thought were just okay. I still read them and enjoyed them, but I didn't love them. But
it is what it is. Though. That's what the point of this is. It's just to go through and have some fun. It's ultimately what are we playing for? It's just a bit of fun. Like at the end of the day, it's just fun.
Absolutely.
Sitting there, having a drink, talking shit. That's all it is. It's just a bunch of morons having an opinion online, like everyone else does. Like that's all it is at the end of the day. That's all of us. Hello, do you watch us? But this is the fun part of it all. So for me, I'm glad it wasn't a clean sweep. I don't think we ever really do get a clean sweep. That's the cool part about doing it.
Never have.
Which is awesome. But
what was
get
it?
ready for next week. Sorry?
3 versus 2. Was that what the final score was?
Yeah. 3-2. So very close.
I don't count. I'm just a ring in.
Yeah, but if it's that case, then it's 3-1. So take your
3-1.
pick. You know, like
It doesn't matter. Look,
And the regular
I'm glad that Streets didn't get completely smashed. I mean, look, it deserves
don't
to
want
be
to.
here.
Yeah.
And it, you know, and so it does deserve. Like I feel bad because I it sounds like I totally shit canned it.
No,
and
you
I
didn't. You didn't. No,
You know, I think it just doesn't resonate with me as a story, and that to me is where a concept album has to shine through.
Yeah.
And even though the Beatles isn't a concept album per se, right?
Yeah.
And if I was to vote, which is the best concept album, well, I think I'd go with Streets because it does tell a story.
Yeah.
But for me, I couldn't do it. You know,
Yeah, no, it was one of those things where, I took it on the merit of, what's a concept, what makes a concept album, and to me, it was the storytelling, the drama, and all that sort of stuff that Streets provided over what the Beatles did. And that's not to dismiss anything about either of these albums, but it's just, each person comes at this from their own point of view, and it'll be different next week as well. Like it's all fun and games, it's all silly. Now, speaking of next week, just for the record, this was
tune in next week to see my heart break.
Yeah, Dave's going to struggle. This week was number 7, the 7th seed versus the 10th seed. Next week we have the 1 seed versus the 9th seed. You want to watch Dave's heartbreak? Next week it's Queensryche Operation Mindcrime coming up. The one that beat out last time around. This is Nightwish Imaginarium up against Queensryche. So Dave's going to struggle, and that's actually possibly a harder battle than you might think.
I'm going to fight a good fight. God damn it.
I'm not looking forward to that. Actually, I'm not looking forward to having to make a decision
because something has to go, and that's the shitty part. They're both fucking amazing. Even this round, they're both amazing. Something had to go. So it's just one of those things. Every round is kind of sad.
It is like that, unfortunately. But that's
more painful ones coming up too.
Yeah.
If there was nothing at stake, it wouldn't mean as much, if that makes sense. Like there's
that's exactly right. Yeah.
I'm dreading at some point Sgt. Pepper's going to go up against Scenes from a Memory or Imaginarium, because Nightwish and Dream Theater are my bands and the Beatles is my wife's band.
Yeah, you're screwed if that happens.
Am I going to be sleeping on the couch coming up?
Yeah, Dave's in a different chair. What were you going to say before, Chris?
So what you guys are doing here, for me, is Mindcrime was something I grew up with, and Nightwish I've just in the last several weeks have become a lot more familiar with, especially that Imaginarium album.
Yeah.
Awesome. Other people are the opposite. Some people hear something, they hear the other things, and you're actually making people listen to these different albums that they may not have heard before. And I'm one of the ones that suggested Streets as part of the whole concept when you guys were asking for the concept albums. Yeah. And I'm thinking this has never got a chance, but I'm just glad that other people got a chance to listen to it.
Yeah. I'm glad I got to listen.
That to me that's my job done. It didn't get through, but it's like the fact that you guys listened to it and
absolutely
and just that's my job done.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you did put it up because I got to listen to it again. Now, like I said, I haven't listened to it in years and years and years. It didn't resonate with me, but musically, if you just turned off the vocals, and I love John Liver's, his vocals, his sounds amazing. I just didn't like the content, and I'm sorry. That's just
what I found unique about this one was how you got different vocal performances to represent different characters. That was cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's hard to do.
Exactly. Has that vocal delivery where he's got so many different sounds and timbres to his voice.
Yeah.
What was interesting was that I only learned recently that I thought that and we talk about Chris Oliva, rest in peace, brilliant guitarist, but another person who's recently passed on in the scheme of things is Paul O'Neill. Now, Paul O'Neill is a guy that actually I didn't realize until recently he had written the entire Street story.
Yeah.
Back in 1979. And it was Chris Oliva who found it in a drawer with music written. And it was originally going to be the Gutter Ballet album. And the title was going to be called Gutter Ballet. And they worked, and when the Crowds Are Gone, which is one of the most incredible songs ever written,
isn't it?
Was going to be on the album. They didn't feel they were ready to do a concept album. But the actual story that Paul wrote in 79, which is closer to Sgt. Pepper's, was actually going to be the album called Gutter Ballet. Then they weren't ready for it at the time, but it's pretty impressive, you know, thinking about that it was just a story and a set of songs that Paul had sitting in a drawer that he'd kind of discarded over the years, and both of those two guys who are no longer with us have left us with this album that I think is one of the most amazing albums ever. So, you know,
which is a legacy in itself.
Yeah,
which is fantastic. No, well done. I'm glad you put this forward, and I'm glad that it got to have enough sort of popularity out there as well that it got to the top 10. I mean, that says something for the album itself. Out of all the albums people could choose from, they still made it to the top 10. So that's no mean feat at all. It's done very, very well. And yeah,
I'm never heard it before, so
I'm glad that I'm glad this is educational for us, but also for people watching or listening to the show as well. Like that's the whole point. It's just meant to be a bit of fun. We talk about stuff that gets us all fired up, and hopefully gets other people sort of, you know, to invest their passion in music, because I think it's one of the best things ever in the world, and the, you know, the history of the human race is music. So I love this
universal language.
Yeah, that's it. It's more important than mathematics to me, but hey, that's just me. Let's go through some comments here. When you jumped in, Chris, a guy has gone, oh my God, it's Hetfield. So I don't know how often you get that, but you get that one.
I get that a lot. I don't know why.
Can we call you Papa Het? Is that what we're going to do?
I don't know why. It's just like,
all right, what do we got here? So that's all it takes is one fucking bad day when it comes to the animals, I imagine. So Vinny says, imagine an album, songs to purge your pigs to. Here we go.
I've never purged a pig, but I'm curious.
Yeah, well, it would be interesting. Wow. Who knows what the fuck had happened there? I don't know which would be worse, pig or a goat when it comes to purging them. But anyway.
Goats bark harder.
Yes.
Allegedly.
Nicole says you can call it Bok 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 Dave. That's funny as fuck, isn't it? Hey, get Frankenbok in on this act too. There we go. Pig in a box for Basher. Vinny says 2 chooks in a cage match. Hank Hogan and Ravishing Rack Rude.
Chook Hogan.
Oh, Nicole's gone winner chicken dinner. How we didn't think of that before, I don't know, but yeah, winner chicken dinner is on there for sure. Michael's gone, any Hard Rock Show vegans, if there are, they probably passed out. Yeah, I guess.
Sorry, guys.
Rowan's gone, speaking of chicken songs, Metallica has a song called Bad Seed. There we go.
Oh, yes.
There we go.
That's going on Metallica Monopoly.
Yeah, that should actually. That really should. Nicole says Sirens is one of my all-time favorites. Savatage.
Yeah. Great album.
So there we go.
Yeah,
that's
great album.
Savatage for Nicole. Stephen, good to see you. Thanks for jumping in. Do you ever do any Japanese bands? Try Memofila. They are great. Okay, I'll have to look them up. I've been getting a few requests over the years for a little more focus on that regard. So we do have plans to dive more deeply into that genre of music or that world, part of the world.
Ex-Japan, Malice Mizar, Lunacy. There's a lot of great bands out there.
Yeah, so there's heaps in that regard. So we haven't done it as yet. We have done little TV bits and pieces here and there over the years, but we do want to do an actual deep dive into that sort of subculture of rock and metal. So yes, definitely on the cards. And thank you for sharing that band with us. I have to check it out for sure. Lee's jumped in to say, rest in peace, Chris Oliver. Streets remains on high rotation since purchased as a pimply-faced teenager from Metal from Melbourne on release in 91. Nicely done. Yes.
I still remember I was on a high school excursion. We were at Flinders Street Station waiting for ages. So a bunch of us just fucked up to Banana Alley. Went to Melbourne for about half an hour. That was a good day.
It's a good place. They had some great stores back in the day. Unfortunately, I get the same things anymore. Not the same experience, not the same world. Time moves on. Rowan says, as someone who listens to more concept albums than anything else, but who doesn't listen to the lyrics, I respectively disagree with Jeff's assertion about the importance of story and lyrics. No, I think to rub salt in the wound, he spelt your name with both ways there. So.
He covered his face. He covered his face. He did that on purpose because he knows how my name is spelled. So that's okay. I get it. Twist.
Not paying attention to lyrics there.
No,
that's the point.
Good, mate.
Michael says 1-1 Dave looks primed. So there we go. It's when we have the score going on there. Darren said juvenile lyrics. Have you listened to the Beatles? There's a lot of nonsensical stuff, and I'm a fan of theirs. So there we go with that one as well.
I don't know if it's juvenile though. I mean, it's. I mean, they were fucking spun out on fucking all the kinds of drugs, so they were coming up with some weird shit. This is not stuff little kids were writing. I don't know, but
I love Bill Hicks's rendition of the Beatles. Like, he's talking about how music wouldn't exist without drugs, and he's going like they were trying to get Ringo from the fucking ceiling with a broom. Like, that's how high he was fucking making this shit. It's like, great. Edge Crush, good to see you as well. They've gone love both, but the Beatles is the better release for me. So we are getting a bit of back and forth in this one. And Rowan's gone television commercial. Okay, that's how I recognize that song. Getting Better All the Time was used in so many commercials over the years. Yeah. But we are getting some love the other way around. So Savatage for Nicole, and same for Darren. So getting some love for Savatage here. Stephen again saying Nimafila do a version of Separate Ways. Of course, it's great. Okay, I have to check that out. That is cool. There's a lot of versions that are kicking around, but that would be a good one to check out. What do we got here? Michael says, did we get past this one with no one mentioning Sir George Martin, producer, his pioneering techniques in production on Sgt. Pepper's? I did briefly reference how important it is in production history. But yes, I do completely agree. What George Martin did in terms of musical history is second to none.
Can I change my producer from Bob Rock to George Martin now? Can I?
No.
Did George produce?
Well, he in a bad roundabout way, he influenced it all, I guess.
Oh, here we go. What were you going to say, Chris? Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Did George produce anything in the Big Four? I don't think I remember reading those.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing George Martin's credits on the Big Four.
The Fab Four, maybe not the Big Four.
Well
played.
I'll
give you that one, man. That was well done. Good catch.
I tell you what, though, if you guys obviously checked out the Let It Be movies, Peter Jackson movies.
Yeah.
And you see the cutting edge in 70. Think about 3 years earlier, how limited technology they had to make Peppers, like to make that album with that technology, with 4 tracks and bouncing everything down. Like that's just phenomenal.
And the cutting of tape and the playing it backwards and everything that went into it. And that's just on top of the composition to make this happen as well. Like even the last 30 seconds of this thing, we got the 2 spoken bits playing back against each other in different timing. It's like, what the fuck? A lot of respects, like, everyone talks about the White Album, but there's nothing like this album for me. Eclipses that in a lot of respects.
Like we were talking about the year and a half of the life of Metallica when they were recording the Black Album. They recorded fucking hours and hours of making this album, the Beatles, White Album. Now, why don't more bands do this shit?
I know.
Especially these days where you have the digital tools, like it's
I know. It's just
it's
it's nonsensical.
I'd love to see the process. This is riveting. 3 nights of watching those Beatles episodes. It was fantastic to see that.
I mean, I could argue that
they didn't hear Yoko sing. That was horrible.
Yeah, but it's more enjoyable, I think, to watch how an album's made sometimes than to keep listening to it. I love listening to an album, but I can watch something how it's made. That's this is interesting for me.
When it comes to production or creating or writing or music, that's the part of the world where people want to know what's in the sausage. You know what I mean? The other parts of the world, people don't want to know what's in the sausage. This is one of the parts of the world where you do. And I think it's actually more engaging and more activating for your fan base.
Correct.
Person.
That's a question I've asked people many years. It's like, what's your fly on the wall moment? What is it? If you could just be the fly on the wall at one day in time, whether it's
my parents having sex before they had me. Yeah.
What was that, Jeff?
So my parents having sex when they were having me. That would be a fly. I'd love to watch that. Hey, that's me.
Really fucked up.
That was a tangent. I did not expect that conversation.
Yeah, no, I didn't think we were going there either.
Hey, but it would be a pretty cool moment. You gotta admit that would be kind of
No,
see yourself being made. Come on.
no.
How about you see yourself being born?
How close of a zoom do you want on this, Jeff? Like, seriously.
Well, just from a distance. All right. I'll see myself being born. That would be cool.
Yeah, Jeff wants to watch himself being born in 4K Ultra HD.
Yeah,
Like,
why not? Why not? You know, hey, how many people can say they've
I
done
want to
that?
know if my mum was a screamer or a squealer. Fucking.
Can we talk about Conrad's mother now while we're on the conversation? Sorry, Conrad. Okay, no. Oh boy, no. Sorry, I know we took a left turn, but you said flying the wall. That's a pretty cool. That's my.
That's a good idea.
Somebody's like fly the wall, flat.
I'm just imagining
Get the bugger salt out and go bang. Like,
yeah.
I'm just imagining Conrad asking his mum. So, Mum, are you a screamer?
this is putting the Destroy She Said song Squirter into a whole new context.
Oh,
like just.
Like, did she have plastic on the lounge?
Sorry.
Wow. Welcome to the Hard Rock Show, where you never know the fight. We went wild last week, on wild again this week. Fucking. Oh man.
It's just the first thing that popped in my mind. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it.
I'm a bad influence.
Jeff, equating that conversation to the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man is a bit of a stretch. All right. It's the first thing that popped in my head. I thought it was the first thing that could never possibly hurt us.
Stay Puft covers everyone's face.
Right. Yeah.
Now I get the reference.
I don't know. I'm sorry. But what would your fly in the wall moments be to answer his question?
Fuck, that's hard.
Fuck.
That's really hard on without notice because you got to think about it. Like,
I just verbalized diarrhea out of my mouth. I didn't think about it at all.
Jeff,
then after I said it, I was like,
with you.
I probably shouldn't have said that out loud. Yeah.
Now it's in the public record.
You know what? The scream in Number of the Beast.
Yeah.
Because I know the story behind it. How the producer just made Dickinson do it over and over and over. When he finally fucking nails it, that would have been cool to be in the studio when he was so
that was
frustrated.
legitimate. He was frustrated. That's why it's so good.
And apparently threw a chair across the room, but just to fucking nail it, that would have been cool.
To see him do that last scream, that aggro, it's done on finished scream. To actually witness that would be amazing.
Yeah.
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 I think wow. There's so many. Like, that's the thing. Like, for me, I'm trying to think. Like, because I don't want to go the obvious one tonight and go, okay, well, for me, thinking back on the year and a half, for example, the moment Hetfield broke that amp, that'd be the part I'd see in that, like, that when the Sad But True riff was getting done and Hetfield blew up the amp, that'd be kind of cool. But there's other ones too. Like, there's bits and pieces in different bands' histories where, like, for example, even being a fly on the wall, we're talking about a year and a half, but, Hetfield wrote Nothing Else Matters, the opening riff, on the phone to someone else. But also, the Eagles, I forget who, but they wrote Hotel California, the opening stanza of that, just on the front porch one day, just came to them. Like, those are the moments that I want, that serendipitous moment where it's not necessarily in the studio, just being there to watch that, the facial expression when they hit that, oh fuck, that eureka moment. That might be something. Yeah. Any of those sorts of things would be when I would really want to be the fly on the wall. Not just the group thing, but just that eureka moment where someone realizes they've got something special. And it's just when you know how big a song is, but how personal the beginning of it was. That to me is that's the moment I would love to see the most. If you get
that's very much like I've got, like, this whole Randy Rhoads thing. The whole Aussie thing where he talks about how Randy was just tuning up in the studio and he just played this riff that became Suicide Solution.
Yeah.
And I mean, to be there for when Ozzy goes, what was that? And do it again.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Have you seen the story? Any guys have seen there's a show. I don't know if I can mention another YouTube show.
Go for it. Yeah.
All right. So it's called 80s Metal Recycle Bin, right? And it's on YouTube, and there's really good. They interview a lot of the guys, but there's an interview on there a 2-part interview with Dana Strum, okay, where he talks about taking Ozzy to go see Randy, of course, and Ozzy didn't want to go see Randy because he was calling him, all right, I'll go see your Jesus and all stuff. But he puts on the voice of Ozzy when he's talking and does this. It's fucking amazing. I've showed that video to so many people because it's the story from the guy who was there that did it. You know, so without Dana Strum, from, if you guys don't know, that's the guy from Slaughter. Without him, there would be no Randy Rhoads. So you know, So if you haven't seen it, 80s metal recycle band Dana Strum, watch it, people, because it's fucking amazing.
Cool.
I just thought there would have been when Ozzy was living in the hotel after he was done with Sabbath, and just Sharon spending that time with him, just that last whatever the hell she said that convinced him to get off his ass and start a solo career. Yeah, that would have been a cool moment in time to see.
That would have been a fly in the wall. Yeah.
Another cool thing
was to get Ozzy motivated again.
Yeah, just thinking on this, changing gears, but thinking on this too, like that moment where someone's auditioning and the chemistry clicks. So, for example, imagine being in the room when Dio was auditioning for Sabbath.
Time they
rehearsed.
Or when they really came into audition for Kiss, because we all know that story. That would have been that just gelled. Or that moment when Aerosmith all get out of rehab before they start permanent vacation. Yeah, just that moment that they start playing together again.
It's just so many, isn't it? There's so many. Cool
that's
moments.
The thing. Like you could go on and on with this. That's an interesting conversation, Chris, that you brought up there. You can go on and on. Like there's just so many.
What made me think of it was watching the Let It Be documentary when the big promos were when Paul's just sitting there with his bass, just knowing he's got the pressure to come up with another song. Yeah. And all of a sudden you just watched Get Back unfold in front of your eyes.
And then George was in. Yeah, I remember
that. That was the moment that song. 20 seconds earlier, it didn't exist.
Yeah.
Now,
that's amazing they captured that too. That was fucking great.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
And this is why this is exactly why bands should capture as much as they can, because how many years after that band is folded is this footage finally seen the light of day, and we're all getting to experience this moment together. How many years later on?
As soon as it was talked about there's going to be released, the fucking world stops. Just like the Beatles and the unseen footage. Everyone needs to see it, and they did.
That was the music equivalent of the Michael Jordan thing that was on Netflix during everyone's lockdown. Like that was, that was the music equivalent of that. So if you're into sport, you had the Michael Jordan on. If you're into music, you had Beatles Get Back. So it's just as important to just
another cool fly on the wall moment when they were recording Appetite for Destruction and Axl was nailing Steven Adler's girlfriend.
I knew you were going to fucking bring up Guns N' Roses into this somehow.
The rest of the band's like, no, Steven, trust me, you don't want to go in there. Why not? Just trust me. Go do some heroin or something. It's all cool. Axl will be out.
And he did,
He did,
yeah. But I remember reading an article many years ago, like when Guns N' Roses, like I don't even know if they were just released Appetite or whatever, and this article was talking about all the people that helped them make the album, and they said in this thing was that like everybody fucking hated their fucking guts, but they helped them make the album. People couldn't stand them; they were just assholes. They were, I'm not gonna, that's just the way they were. But what came out of that was Appetite for Destruction, which is one of the greatest albums of all time.
Yeah, that tension can sometimes, like Dave and I went through the Aerosmith discography recently, and that tension between Tyler and Perry is pivotal to that band as well. So that tension is sometimes incredibly important. I'm going to go through more comments so we can start putting a bow on this episode tonight. But back to the production credits there with George Martin. I guess Michael followed up with, I guess that's why it's up there, often considered as one of the best albums of all time, which is absolutely true. Lee, you're welcome. He's gone. Thanks, Andrew, for giving Savatage some love. You're more than welcome. Definitely have to do that. Rowan says, how is Imaginarium coming up again already? Because what happens is when we do these rounds, the bottom seeds basically have to fight their way through. And so numbers, the first two rounds have to sort of come into the swing of things. I have looked at it, but the problem is if I try and bump it out by like a week, it means they sort of come up again really quick again later on as well. So there's no way to really win it in the way we've got the format going on. It's just it comes up quickly. But the week after, that will be completely new. Don't worry about that. Darren says Paul O'Neill pushed for this. What do we got here? Basher says the Beatles for me. I can't see all of your comment, unfortunately. The Beatles for me, I believe Paul McCartney had a lot to do with making of this album. He was the only Beatle prior to this album not using drugs. However, he was not getting creative and decided to use LSD, and wow, a classic album was born and going strong to this day. Favorite track a day in life, it was decided to leave out Strawberry Fields and Penny Lane. They were released as singles prior to the album. I love Strawberry Fields, Penny Lane, and if included in the album would have enhanced even more. Unfortunately, I can't get the rest of the comment from Facebook, but yeah, that's I do love where you're going with that sentiment there as well. Sally has gone, what a compliment. I'm not sure which one that was reference to, but there was compliments there. It's like 20 minutes ago.
Was it my fly in the wall moment? Maybe.
No, I'm not sure. Maybe.
Probably not. Probably not. I'm going to go out on a limb and say no.
Vinny's gone. Houston, the bacon has landed. So there we go. Michael says, Metal for Melbourne, still just as angry to knock down the original shop for the Fed Square build. Yeah, that's unfortunately how we work in this country. Lee says, I was playing Bill Hicks with my boys prior to the show. Musicians on Drugs segment is superb. There is a tattoo on my wrist which is related to Bill Hicks, so there's it's a pivotal one for me. His way of looking at the world I love. So yeah, love Bill Hicks. Darren says, now I understand Jeff, you sick freak.
Yeah, there we go. Getting some love.
Followed by Sally going,
Come on,
Jeff, that's weird.
Come on, Dad, give it to her. Give it to her, Dad. That's the way it's done.
This is like the different version of Stewie going, Mum, Mummy, Mama.
That's the way I could say. I could literally go, the best part of me ran down the crack of my mom's ass. I could really say that. I could actually see it, you know.
Yeah,
but,
you're getting really specific, just so you know.
Yeah, you know, only live once.
Wow. Darren says, well said, Michael, loved that store. So backed up to the Metal for Melbourne. Vinny says, I'm literally traumatized by Jeff's reflection. Everyone's mother has suddenly become a hot topic.
Sigmund Freud would have so much to say.
Oh, man. This is literally our fucking fourth wall into Bill and Ted, because they went back and got Sigmund Freud. Can you imagine Sigmund Freud watching this shit right now and analyzing us for
He'd be in rehab. He'd be in fucking rehab.
I reckon we fucked him up more than he was fucked up. What have we got here? Bash says, look forward to Dave's reviews next week. Last week's was so amazing, passionate, and heartfelt. Right up until he fell off the chair.
I got a big battle against me next week, so I'm gonna fucking bite the good bite.
You do? Holy fuck, man! My favorite album, and what it's up against, unbelievable. They're both great.
Mm-hmm.
Back to Fly on the Wall. Darren says, watching Randy Rhoads create magic on Diary, that would be fun as well. Roland says, it was fun to see all the Dream Theater drummer auditions process. So
that was awesome. Yeah.
This is why you do these things. Basher says, Fly on the Wall moment. Page, Plant, Bonham and Jones first meeting song together. Ooh, wow. That'd be cool. So no, it was Chris looking like head. Sorry, Jeff. Vinny says, we're rewriting the rules of lovemaking right now. Well, we're rewriting fucking everything on the fly as we go.
Why not?
Yeah, I know. Darren says he would be in a straitjacket, referring to us talking about what we would do to Freud right now. And Vinny says, let's see the highlights. I'm not sure any of us want to. Oh, wow. Michael's gone, Jeff, you'll need to dress as Frankenfurter playing your bells next week if you want to upstage Dave again.
There we go. All right, it's set. I'm doing it. All right.
Oh, fucking battle's on.
Oh, man.
Battle's
this is going to be wild.
I'm breaking the bells. You're fucked now, Dave. You're done.
I can't compete with bells, man. All I want to see my dad rip my mouth. Jesus Christ.
Well, look, it's just one of those things.
I can just picture you ringing your bell like, give it to her, Dad.
Give it to her, Dad. Wait. Oh,
no. The Kevin Melody Wilson wheeling around the other side now and takes on a real new meaning this point in time.
Oh, wow. And then I find out that my dad wasn't actually involved.
Yeah, that'd be
mailman. Who's the fucking mailman? Yeah, exactly. I was wondering
Your
why I
dad
never
running around with an 8
look
mil.
like my own man. Yeah.
He's got the Super 8 on the shoulder.
Oh wow.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell. What do we got here? Basher says Floyd would write a book on this program. The rate we're going, a series. Vinny says, I imagine my very short dad mounting mum would be like a scene from Blazing Saddles. Oh, man. Oh, I don't know if we can top that one.
I'll tell you a
Darren
story
says-
about that sometime.
What?
No, not now.
No.
Another time, another bad channel. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
My parents would be more like Spaceballs. What the hell am I
Oh.
looking at? When does this happen in the movie?
That's everyone watching us right now. What the fuck are we looking at? I have no idea what's going on right now. Darren says, bells and stockings, Dave, you're fucked.
I can't compete with that shit.
You can't. No, you're done. I'm coming in stockings and bells. Yeah.
For which
Fuck yeah.
Lee's trying to say, put Jeff in the bin next week, save us from his depravity.
There we go. That's coming.
Well done, Lee.
Yeah.
Nicole
Good job.
says, just when you think things can't get any lower, well, fuck, we'll always find a way to scrape the barrel. Don't worry about that. That's one of our rare skills. And Vinny's gone, I can't breathe in this thing. So there we go.
I've long been an ankle. Anyway, we can leave it there. Do you know what an ankle is?
Go on, explain to everyone.
An ankle is 3 feet lower than a cunt. Sorry. Sorry. All right.
We're going lower.
We're going lower.
You know that whole
yeah.
down, prices are down. It's
Well,
just, no, everything's
that's
down
right.
here for us.
Well, I do remember that, that word. I don't like to use it, but there was that album. Remember that band that had that name in the, what were they called?
Anal cunt.
Yeah. So it's not the first time this word's ever been used. We've
No.
used it before.
No.
Yeah. That's right.
Oh, wow. Oh.
Anyway.
Sally's gone, oh my God, Jeff, what have you started? Who knows? I don't know
don't
where it's
know.
going to end either. But we're going to wrap up pretty soon. I think we should get out of here. We're going to have to get
We have to.
We're going to just completely incriminate all of us in one fell swoop soon. All right, let's do a bin. I'll give you a minute to think, Chris, because I didn't put this on you at all. But if you got something for the bin, have a minute to think. Jeff, you did it before, but do it again just for posterity because it's important.
Okay, well, so the guys that that pulled that fucking shifty shit, for the tote and everything, those guys come out of this. Yeah, that's just the shittiest thing. So yeah, fuck you, cunts. Get in that bin.
Yep, agree. Well done. Alrighty, Dave, what have you got?
I had a bin, but I'm going to save it next week, and Jeff's going in the fucking bin for wanting to watch his dad ripping his mum. That's just fucked up shit.
Come on, man. You only live once.
That's your rationale? You only live once? Oh,
Look, I'm a fucking fly. I only got, a 72-hour fucking lifespan. I got to do something to enjoy myself.
oh, wow.
What's that? Louis the Fly? Oh, he's
I'm
a
Louis
legend.
the Fly. I'm
Louis
Louis the
yeah.
Fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's my Louis the Fly moment.
Okay, what we need now is for someone to actually get the bug assault, that little salt gun that they've got now for flies, and just end this whole conversation. Like, that's what needs to happen right now. Anyway, Chris, have you got anything for the bin?
Honestly, I am thinking that Jeff's dad's was a Super 8 recorder that he filmed that whole scene, that he actually learned who his father was. That whole thing should be thrown in the bin because it's something you should never know.
Oh, this is
Ever.
Hey, this is what Ancestry.com is for. I've just found a way around that. So
Oh, wow.
why should I pay those cunts $40 a month to find out my ancestry? Fuck that.
For someone who doesn't like that word, you
Considering the
like,
ancestors
I know.
Oh.
I'm being a bit of a. All right.
All
All right.
right,
I'll be
well-
nice. I'll be nice from now.
All right. Well, my bin this week is there's a serious one and a fun one. The serious one has to be the United States of America. Between, I mean, what do you start? Between Trump and his favorable news coverage, even though he's been, found guilty of sexual assault, And then their gun laws and everything else. The United States is just a dumpster fire. It can just, go in there and stay in there and never get out, as far as I'm concerned.
The bad elements, yeah.
You're gonna need a bigger bin.
Yeah. Oh,
sorry, was that Chris?
You're gonna need a bigger bin.
You're gonna need a much bigger bin. Like, there are good parts, but it's just like it's so overwhelmingly overshadowed by the bad parts right now. It's woeful.
That's the sad. That's the sad part.
That is the sad thing, because there are plenty of good people. It's not about the individuals. It's just a fucking mess. But my more lighthearted one is this whole Facebook stars thing. Like, whenever I try and look at comments on our videos, because it defaults to fucking stars, I have to go actually into things and try to type a comment just to read the comments. It's a fucking shit show. It's Facebook stars. Fuck off in the bin with you piece of shit. Well, fuck off. I don't have any time, effort, or inclination to add another step to things that already take me a shitload of time to do. Just fuck off with it. If people want to send us money, that's great. Cool. Send us money. We've got a PayPal link in the description, or we've got Patreon, all that sort of stuff as well. But I don't need fucking stars that are going to pay me like 1.01 cent per star or something ridiculous like that. Just fucking insane.
I don't even know what this fucking Facebook stars is. Enlighten me.
I'll fill you in sometime. It's just silly. It's the equivalent of a super chat, I guess.
Oh, okay.
It's Facebook's version of a super chat, but it's not quite the same. But it's a loose, similar concept. So there you go.
Gotcha. All right, that's cool. I just didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Darren's gone, Jeff, in the bin, you dirty bastard.
Yeah.
Nicole, here we go, Nicole. I just got sent to the garage because I'm laughing so much.
Sorry.
Oh, that's awesome. Lee's gone. Need an animated THRS with Dr. Marvin Monroe hosting a shock therapy.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Oh, that is
any
great.
Animators out there? That
No,
so
what I should do
awesome.
is grab that scene and stick all of our fucking faces over the faces of the characters. Just
co-hosted with Dr. Hibbert.
Yes, definitely. Darren's gone. Hope it's warm in there, Nicole. Sally's gone. What was the Tote thing, Stooge? What did I miss? Basically, long story short, the Tote thing looks like it's going ahead, but the current owners of the Tote put up a post just after the target was reached by the Last Chance Fund, and they basically almost upped the price after the fact, kind of a thing. Long story short, it's a really fucking just messy situation that has just taken the wind out of the sails of everyone, even though it was a celebration at the time. Vinny says, remember that 80s movie Inner Space where a scientist shrinks to enter another person to complete a mission? I'm picturing Jeff in his wee time machine hitching a ride in amongst the sperm wave jets.
There we go. Yeah.
Here I come again.
Sets a whole lasso thing up, and he just follows the sperm all the way into the egg.
Oh, wow.
No, Jeff's in there laying bets on which one it is. Like, that's
Yeah.
He's the bookie.
That's it.
Come on, number 8.
Number 8. Yeah. I got money out of you, bitch. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Nicole's going, sure, Darren still feels like 20 degrees. It is nice and warm up there at the moment. Darren says, awesome show, guys. Have a great one. Thank you very much. And Darren's also going, what is Facebook? Yeah, it is a bit like that these days. Facebook's a bit of a mess. So they're all a bit of a mess. And we're a mess tonight. Speaking of which, we should get the fuck out of here. It's been an absolute blast. Thank you, Chris, for jumping in. And I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did, because
You've been awesome.
And thanks to everyone for tuning in. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, and give us your thoughts. To do that, details are in the description box for all this stuff. Check out the reference tracks there as well. All of our details, there's reference tracks. Go and check out everything, and feel free to give us your thoughts now, whether you're watching live with us. Thank you for your time, or if you're tuning in later on, either watching or listening at your own pace, then thank you for your time as well. It's been an absolute blast as always. We do this for the fun of it. Hopefully everyone else gets a kick out of this fucking madness that we do as well. I don't know what the fuck we're doing from week to week, but it's a blast for us. Hopefully people enjoy it as well. But yeah, please make sure you like, follow, subscribe. Keep up to date with everything we're doing. We've got TV broadcasts on at 10:30 p.m. on Thursday nights on Channel 44 in Adelaide, and 10:30 p.m. Saturday nights on Channel 31 in Melbourne. You can watch both of those via the CTV Plus app and via ctvplus.org.au, wherever you are in the world as well. Check out our fantastic sponsors. Still a big thank you to Squid Ink Screenprinting, Alt-Cvlt Rockstar Finance. Their details are just like ours in the description box. So give them some love as well. If you want to help us directly, check out our Patreon page for more information on that. And there's just everything. So just, you know what to do. Everyone's the same. Make sure you hit that like button, though, because it is liking and commenting are the best things to help us get, into other people's feeds so they can, spread the word around without having to do too much work on your end of things as well. But yeah, hopefully everyone's had a great time. We've had a blast here tonight. Obviously, what do we got here? So Michael says, inner space. Good one, Vinny. So there we go. Conrad's jumped in saying, Ripple was off the scale. Brilliant. I encourage you to all go and see him tomorrow evening down at the Bendy. Nice one there. Thanks for sharing, Conrad. I'm out with a family function tomorrow, but yeah, that would be a good gig to go to. Vinny says, can't wait to derail next week's stream again. Vinny says, thanks again for the laughs. Rowan's given us all the horns. Lee's gone, did Jeff play the Gimp in Pulp Fiction? Wake up the Gimp, but the Gimp's sleeping. Nicole says, thanks for another fun night.
I wasn't revenge.
Leave your DNA on the like button. Nicole, that's a Steel Panther song, I'm sure. Waiting to be written. Leave your DNA on the like button. That's a nice one. I'm going to pay that one. And Andrew's gone. Great show again, boys. See you next week. Cheers. You're more than welcome. We're going to get out of here. We got a lot done tonight, or maybe not a lot, but we just spent a lot of time talking about nothing. But that's the fun of it all.
What's that? That's Shakespeare? Much ado about nothing. Yes,
pretty much. Now we've gone from previous conversations tonight to Shakespeare. I don't think that's ever been. I don't know where
the show is amazing. It's good.
There's a whole Bill and Ted's thing in there about what was it talking about Socrates.
Socrates, yeah.
The true art of knowing that you know nothing.
Yes, that's us. We know nothing, and we know nothing.
Now your dad's going for it in your own room. Shut up, Ted.
I'm sorry I mentioned it.
Dave pulled one out at the end, and that's a in itself, pulling one out at the end. Oh man, what the fuck are we doing?
Most non-triumphant.
Rufus, get us out of here. Sorry.
We can totally see down your top.
All I'm thinking of right now is when Napoleon goes down the fucking bowling alley going, shit. That's about us right now. Yeah. So water slide. So, all right, we're going to get out of here. What do we got here? So, Vinny goes and began with Conrad's mum. And Nicole and the wine's kicked in. And it's all gone to shit. So, we're going to get out of here. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll see you all again. Same time, place next week with another fucking manic live stream. Hopefully, you'll join us for another round of insanity. Until next time, though, let's see how this one goes. I'm Andrew.
I'm Louis the Fly.
I'm Dave.
I'm DT Jesus.
There we go.
There we go. Nice.
Well done. We'll see you all again very, very soon. Until then, though, you know what to do, people. As always,
drink up.
Oh, fuck. I'm out of juice. Oh, shit. Okay.
Rock on. And if your parents' doors are closed, stay the fuck out.
Yeah. I suppose that is a good life lesson. Yes.
That is a very good life lesson, especially in tonight's conversation. We're out. See you next time.
Hey, guys.